Hi. Yeah,
You get live there.
okay.
Evening, good afternoon, and of course, good morning, wherever you are and listening to us here at Linguère Post. Salam, salam. Ñu ngi leen di nuyu yéen ñëpp. Di leen wax jërëjëf si seetaan bi ak ànd bi nga xam ne moom ngeen a ànd ak ñun fii si Linguère Post. Ma ànd ak suma càmmiñ nag Pa Ousmane tey ñu ngi am gan bu maaga di Bakary Sonko moom itam dina dugg rek si kanam tuuti nii. Li ñoo waxtaanee tey mooy drug abuse ak li nga xam ne mooy viagra boo xam ne si chocolate la nekk mu am Gambia nit ñi di ko jëfandikoo mu nekk loo xam ne am na health implications yoo xam ne kii di docteur Bakary Sonko te moom xam-xamam màcc si li nga xam ne mooy drug abuse moom dina ci wax tey kon ñu ngi leen a nuyu rek Marie Fatou Bintou Mala thank you so much Ami Cissé yéen ñëpp ñu ngi leen a wax thank you so much for joining us here di leen wax rek ne fi mu nekk nii ñu door li nga xam ne mooy show bi Fatou Camara tamit moom mu ngi si yoon so xam naa dinañu call si kanam tuuti pour duga waaw Fat Sow President of the Commentators Association Pa Ousma bàyyi la nga nuyoo den ma def introduction bi pour Bakary ñu continuer
waaw ma jërë ngeen yaa ma dégg
waaw ñu ngi laa dégg
mu ngo thanks very much man a gis ma lu dem on Facebook waaye di wax ñëpp again we are happy to be here again same place same platform and thanks for the invite tey topic bi nag moom du ma sa expert nag waaye nañ seet fu ñëw na fulee tey xam naa ndeysaan gars yi gos gis naa bi ñu ko bindee ku ñu kaa comment ku ñu kaa happy mooy Nubian ndeysaan ñoom ma ñooñu gars dañu sonal Nubian ak Fatou
yaa
waaw
ngi koy fay de.
waaye tey moom ñu seet rek ñu seet how educative it would be educate each other pre warn the
Next
dangers
one is good.
things we go on. Wow.
Definitely. And we have, of course, like we
Hello?
said, Bakari Sonko. Thank you, Bakari, for joining us. Bakari is the current National Mental Health and Substance Abuse Program Manager and the focal person of the WHO and the Ministry of Health in the Gambia. He's a visiting lecturer at the University of the Gambia and the American International University of West Africa, the Gambia College School of Nursing and Midwifery, as well as the state-enrolled nursing school and the community health nursing school in mental health. He has a whole heap of expertise in mental health. Sonko has a diploma in community neuropsychological nursing from University of Botswana, bachelor's in advanced mental health and psychiatric nursing from the University of Natal in South Africa, and a master's degree in advanced mental health and psychiatric nursing from the University of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. He is our guest this evening, or this, yes. So definitely he's going to be here with us, going through some of these things. Pa Os tey li ñoo njëkk a wax mooy li nga xam ne mooy the substance Viagra. So déggee Viagra ñi ko dee jël surtout si west bi fii mooy ñi nga xam ne xëj na am nañ problème yi li ñoo ooyee erectile dysfunction mooy ñi nga xam ne xëj na daf dee métti pour ñu sëy ak yooyu fii doctors yi dañ la ko dee mun a prescribal waaye dafa am yoon in a sense ne dang dee am pour dem ñu jox la prescription nga jënd ko ba pare ñu la monitor itamit parce que garab bi for example dafa am side effects you know blood pressure bi dañ ko war di seet ak yeneen a yeneen waaye ñun Gambia fi mu nekk nii dégg naa dangaa dem si benn fashion shop wala fenn rek jënd ko si boutique yi nga sax nga jënd dis chocolate boo xam ne dafa ànd ak Viagra bi nga dem di ko jël doo nekk di dem di def sports doo nekk di dem di test sa bopp ndax sa blood pressure ak yii yëpp mu ngi ok mu nekk loo xam ne mu ngi dina danger si daal Pa Os tey loolu la ñoo waxtaanee balaa Bakary di duga.
jërëjëf mama waaye Bakary jàng na de Bakary su ñëwee tey nag moom nañ ko fi nekk naa ko dur ay yu graaw because of Gambia mënuma believe ne we have this kind of educated people and so much experience. Why? Where is the problem? You know, Gambia ñàkkut borom xam-xam Gambia ñàkkut ñu jàng Gambia ñàkkut ñu tukki ñëwaat toog si biir réew mi waaye lu tax mënu ñoo involve guys in the process of making our healthcare first, you know, a priority, you know, getting involved and this advice. And now Bakary su ñëwee tey moom na nekk a very tough thing, you know. Waaye comme going back to the topic rek wax dëgg neex yàlla nag dafa am li nga xam ne ñun Gambia foog naa den dee roy am nañu ko roy ba daax xaw ma
waaw ba njuy waaw
te yooyu noonu te foog naa ma tubaab lum liggéey rek foog naa am na lu baax ak lu bon even this moringa tea ma dégg nii sax moringa yaa ngi ko si tea yaa ngi ko naan sax naan dafa baax si diabetes yooyu noonu yëpp xamuloo li nga naan lan la so fa nit ku ñuul ak tubaab uti ne whatever ñoom lu ñoo if they su fekkee ñu ngi intake anything in their system it has to be proportion to the problem that they have now in the case of the Gambia tey this Viagra bi ñoo waxee nii man wax di gën a yàlla man loolu bi ma ko dégga fekk maa ngi boy primary school fi dañ ko dégga musuñ koo gis waaye tax jigéen jooy si kaw lal taxul ka nekk góor waaw di
Pa Os am na solo de wax rek de
ala Nubian mama
oui ana ñoom Fatou kay leen dimbale ma sees ana ngeen
si ma su duggee moom non ma du tànde you know nga tax jigéen góor digga you know you have to be moving at la yàlla may as a strength sakat ma su nekkee xale sax te foog naa yu mel ni léegi foog naa xale ñoo si gën a mun a dem sax daan mag ñi waaye the bigger problem tam mooy li tax tam ñu ko mun a abuse or jël ko di ko mun a misuse mooy is these are things yi nga xam ne should not be sold over the counter now xëy na su Sonko ñëwee nañu waxal
Bakari, let's let you come in here. Say hello to the viewers.
Network is, I don't know, the connection is poor.
I Gambia boy.
But we can hear you. Go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Bakari. Oh, his connection. Yeah.
Wow, comme li ma doon wax rek na ma ne ñun suñ generation bii ni tey right now ay góor yaa bi yëpp mu ngi toll si how big or small you are at naka jigéen la toppee at naka mun a méegi jigéen mu jooy waaye loolu yëpp is not the whole purpose yow whatever you want to do with those kind of things yow find a way but once you start to take something that is foreign from a foreign object or nga jël li nga xam ne is not part of your system to boost your sexual desire and your sexual energy, there are serious implications in the future. Time bi nga ko needy, time bi la ko war a jox prescribe pour nga need ko at that time do work and then fekk yaaxul nga right now. Example, antibiotics. Antibiotics ñu ngi ko aaye. Antibiotics léegi xale jigéen léegi ñu ngi koy use instead of family planning pills. Because a dose of antibiotics, a certain dose of antibiotics, immediately after sex, it can diffuse a potential pregnancy. So léegi xale jigéen right now léegi ñu ngi ko ñu left, right and center léegi nga am surtout so nga naan ko léegi if you look at in UK for example, antibiotics you hardly they won't even give to you sooy dee sax na ko jox or na koy jox
because of antibiotics resistance te loolu dinañ ci waxtaan another time. Why? Because suñ dangaa feebar sax ñu jox la ñetti façon antibiotics in Gambia pour benn problème bi loo xam ne benn antibiotics bi mun na koo faj because ñu ngi ut profit ñoom si garab biñ laa jox xalaatu ñëw sa health ak antibiotic resistance bi nga mun a develop so it's a problem waaye viagra bi PAO su nekk nii mu ngi bugg a toj Gambia ñu bari dañ ko si ñu sañ a ooyee pa ñu ngi ci kawam mun na laa indil heart attack mun na laa indil façon complication bu nekk nekkuloo exercise ak nekkuloo tamit di def li nga xam ne mooy and I was speaking to a doctor before li pour laaj ko mu ne ma a lot of these problems with erectile dysfunction ak yii nii lu ci gën a bari mooy ne dangaa suñ diet yi la because suñ diet yi fi mu nekk nii toog doo dem exercise nga nekk si kër boo xam ne na dangaa añ reer ndékki te doo exercise yow góor bi yaa ngi just talk ñu ngi def jimbo yeeg yu kenn xamul si biir lekkay the high content of oil in our food as well daf ko dee def because doo nekk di like I said doo nekk di exercise so yii nii yëpp mu ne daf dee am problème ba nga xam ne soo toogee nga develop these things you can develop diabetes sukur bu bari bi sax mu ne daf dee def li nga xam ne mooy moo indi la this erectile dysfunction that we're talking about so sukur bu bari bi nga boole ko lekk yu unhealthy doo dem exercise sa yaram bi sa heart bi du beat ni mu war a beatee pour nekkal di function properly loolu mun na laa indil this problem so ñu bari sax mu lim ma wax mooy su fekkoon ne change nañ seen diet door di exercise dinañ gis an improvement in not just their physical health waaye even seen sexual health PAOs
ma gis nga xam nga Gambia can do exercise moom is xamuñ ko sax anyway or tayal la but ma hold on ma baal ma ko kunde mo
okay so this is li nga xam ne ñu ngi koy waxtaane tey the lack of physical exercise Gambia we have to be ñun ñëpp sa Gambians not just in Gambia docteur bi ma doon waxal mu maa wax ne ma laaj góor yi nga xam ne ñoo seetaan how many of them over 40 ñoo dee def prostate cancer examination bi mooy nga dem ñu examine la for prostate cancer te mu ne loolu tamit is very highly prevalent amongst men mooy ne góor yi dafa bari torop si ñoom ba nga xam ne dañ leen war di seet su ko defee ñu mun leen a jàppale so yow boo demee nga jël drogue bii nii di viagra bii nii nga xam ne dañ ko def ñu ne léegi comme chocolate nga jël rek nekk si everyday nga nekk ci fane yaa ci nekka yow yaa ngi xalaat ne yaa ngi please kenn si biti te fekk yow yaa ngi lor sa boppa loolu tamit problème la so lii mooy some of the things yi nga xam ne tey dinañ ko waxtaanee dinañ waxtaanee itamit drug use bi ak sometimes sax liñ dee ooyee mental health docteur Sonko su ñëwee dina ci dugga parce que mental health ñun niñ ko gisee rek ñun Gambia duñuy xalaat mental health nit stress bi rek bi nit ñi di dunda mun naa tax ñu nekk ñoo xam ne dinañ am mental health issues di nga gis nit koo xam ne mu wasin ñu ne jël na doomam bi rey na ko wala sànni na ko instead of ñu dimbale jigéen boobu because there's something called postpartum depression instead of ñu dimbale jigéen boobu noonu dañ koo jël dem tëj ko and mile two is not the solution mile two is not the solution for these boys yi ñoo jàppa ak drugs yi nii ak naka lañ ko dee wax ak taay yi nii it's not the solution for jigéen yi ñoo jël ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi wasin parce que fooguma ne benn jigéen di nga wasin nga nekk normal nga ok nga jël sa doom boo xam ne sonn nga ci 9 months bi nga ko jur xaw ngaa dee nga jël xale boobu noonu di ko sànni so there are reasons lu tax jigéen yi they def yi nii and most of the time it is because of depression waaye ñun again depression mental health ñun african bi moom soo ko waxee sax wala demal counseling ngay waxa nit di la jàppale dañ ko gisee ne waaw da nga fa ne dama dof wala da nga fa ne yow tubaab nga te mental health mooy li nga xam ne dafa important tamit si nit ñun stress bi ñuy dunda rek fu nekk nag muy africain yi nekk si diaspora bi ak ñi nekk in Africa dafa bari ba nga xam ne léegi-léeg da nga need pour dem rek toog wax ak nit koo xam ne dafa neutral xamuloo ko wax ko li nekk si sa biir xol ak li laa métti su ko defee mu mun laa jàppale pour mu nekk loo xam ne dina nekk lu mu laa jàppale ñu gis ne again ñun loolu duñ koy jël fulaal am na docteur bi ma doon waxal tamit li ma doon wax mooy ne dangaa gis si kër ñu gis fa benn mère boo xam ne mu nga bari ay di yuuxu nit ñi di stress di wax fekk again mère yi tamit paus that depression that loneliness ñu jëlee si depression ñooñu tamit nekk nañ si catégorie boobu ñu leen dimbale woon in terms of mental health dimbale woon in terms of li nga xam ne mooy di leen jox like seetlu leen den dina doon loo xam ne itamit du éega fi mu éega but tey ñu gis the amount of drug abuse paus in Gambia viagra bi is one thing shisha bi ñoo jël nii di ko abuse is another the club drugs mooy this ecstasy and everything nga xam ne lim yaaxa si Europe bi fii nii kenn mënu la koo wax all of these things fi mu nekk nii ñu nga ne las Gambia ñu ngi abuse you know no good no bad lan paus mooy solution bi fi mu nekk nii ñu waxtaan fi balaa docteur Sonko di ñëwaat
ma gis nga comme no wax rek we have a problem in the Gambia and society at large and most of these things is to do with the lack of control and legislation in place so we say they discipline very high in the Western world mooy the people and society they respect the law they respect authority they are our political differences is not manifested in our daily lives here in Europe. Whereas in the UK, in the Gambia, yange doh because of yange so you t-shirt or bu APRC or bu Adambro or lawyer dawsa. I'm not plus you them sir. They look at you and they quickly make a judgment on you or make a conclusion against you. Now, access to these kind of services, these are the main problems that we are having in the Gambia. And primary healthcare is a problem. Any country in the world that its primary healthcare is not direct, you don't anything right now. Forget about cancer, forget about diabetes, forget about high blood. These are not the problem. If you have a good primary healthcare, you can tackle those problems. Now, the abuse of these drugs, i.e., viagra, I'm going to go. I'm going to kick it, kick. Time in school. Fatu, I'm not being Nubian, for a kick.
I fat from Sijama, because in the better problem.
You know, so these things, Ninkoran, it becomes something that we are taking as a joke and as something very funny, pull it use for no justified reasons. Now the implications are you at a very young age, yes. So ni henga tida asa jigen bu emni gui lo ni henga ko muy daw nga ko rute muna wow kay la bu right now, but because you are young and I'm not a medical expert, but who knows at that point what is working. Well, your energy as a young person, your natural energy is working, but then what you are supplementing to boost that energy to what extent is it doing a damage in you? Now, and again, tamit, jigéen bi nga tëral tamit it's not a toy. Besides, you more commonly right now, it's about satisfaction. Yes, but to what level do you wanna go and achieve that satisfaction? What damage are you doing? It's both ways, and too much of this erection can cause heart attack. Because remember, this is a time when every part of your body is up. This is a part when I'm not so many friend more so you have stroke and big time, and people do die of it. And I have seen a study being one too much of sex prevents heart attack. Well, oh, not too much, but regularly. But again, maybe the doctors will come and explain what is the scientific meaning of that.
Yeah.
Mommy.
Yes. Sonko, come in. We are talking about the chocolate Viagra. This, of course, we know has also health implications for people taking them. What are some of the things that needs to be done, for example, if you're taking these things?
Yeah, but I think when they say chocolate Viagra, it needs to be well defined so that we know actually which specific community they are talking about. Is it this one, the one they use as the tobacco powder one, or which one?
No, this one
So
is
that I
used
know
by men.
specifically.
This one is used by men to enhance their sexual prowess.
Okay. Viagra is Viagra. Yeah, there's a lot of health implications involved. First, we have to understand that one's blood pressure can be increased by these Viagra's that they are using. So it's important that the person undergoes medical checkup prior to even starting it to know your health status first. Because if you have high blood pressure, you happen to take these Viagra's, there's a high tendency you're going to increase that blood pressure. And then there's a lot of hyper activity involved in terms of in conducting sex itself. So as a result, that you are increasing more pressure also on the blood. So that's important for people to know that physiological issues can happen. And then people, the more the blood pressure the heartbeat is more than what is required, it can even result in any sudden heart attacks and the like. You can have that. Now there are complications. Now whereby even the individual physically uh, will try to control himself, but he will not because of depends on the chemicals involved in some of these things, until the erection can be even longer than required. That's a likelihood. And there's a lot of psychological impacts that we are looking at. Why does the person do it? Are you to satisfy your own sex ego or that of the individual? So which need to be looked into. If the person is there to satisfy the other one, the opposite sex, or the person's own personal gain, to look at it that I am to prove to the person who I am. So these are issues that we look into. Those that help you psychologically because you believe that the Viagra will work, but without looking at the health implication. And overdose of everything or overdoing of everything can lead to a lot of complications and the like. And this is a problem, and that can contribute to a lot of prostate issues. Also, prostates can be affected, and then even bleeding. So the more the person happens to do it, they are forcing more blood flow into the penis, and the like. And as a result, even you forcing the sperm to be released more and more, or seminal fluids to be released. The person might end up even seeing blood coming in. So these are issues that you have to understand that it can lead to certain capillary damages and bleeding can happen, which will expose you to more of infection, also secondary infections associated to the hyperactivity and the internal bleedings that you might have. These are all possibilities that you can see. So it's important we know that. And then if you know the specific chemical that they are using also, each of them have their own complication. As a relationship to your cardiovascular system, disturbing your heart and the like. So this is important for us to understand that. So it is important that it be under a medical prescription for them to look at does the person actually need it or not. But this is the problem is in the Gambia here. Most of these Viagras are readily available, not on prescription. Although they should be on prescription, but people can easily get access to them from either pharmacy, drugstores and the like. Not pharmacies, but drugstores and the like, or in the open market. So that will be my contribution on that. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want us to talk about also the drug abuse amongst young people, especially. There are drugs like ecstasy, there are other drugs now available in the market. These have implications
Yes,
on the mental health of these young boys. We see a lot of times, a lot of these young boys either arrested and taken to mile two, or some of them have developed even psychiatric problems and are just roaming about in the streets, etc. Some of the things
exactly.
a lot of people are asking, why is that the case in Gambia? How can the government control the abuse of drugs, etc.?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's very, very important, although it's multifaceted. One, we have to also establish the fact that that the use of drugs and substances by people is due to various reasons. The individual, as a youth, might be experimenting, trying to know what is the impact of that drug or what influence does that drug on his psychic drive, or in order to find himself within a social system, what we call subcultures. There are colleagues of him who are involved in it, and he want to associate or identify himself with it as a means of doing. Some people are using drugs as a means of coping also, not intended, in terms of the intoxication and the like, but they have psychological issues or anxiety situations what they cannot cope with, and they use drugs and substances as a means of coping strategy. And if you talk of ecstasy, which we call nickname lovers drugs and the like, people believe that if the more they take it, they become more euphoric in nature. They become high, elated, happy, and as a result, their enjoyment level increases. So that increases the desire for a lot of people to do that without looking at the negative consequences in terms of addiction and developing tolerance and other physical damages they can do. So we know we have to also understand some, because of certain frustrations or challenges or stressful life experiences they use drugs as the only means of substituting to deal with the problem. And we also have to understand, because there's diversity of reasons. One,
Okay, Paos, it looks like his network has a problem. But Ade is saying that no government anywhere in the world has worked out how to curb the abuse of drugs. But how do we at least make sure that we sensitize people so that they are aware of the dangers? Because what we see right now is almost a pandemic of drug abuse in Gambia.
No, Mama, man, did not disagree at this drama. Um, in the developed countries, like example in the UK, um, yes, people use drugs, but let's highlight in quote the word abuse. Now, going out there to use a drug, there's a limit that you are allowed. Even if you drug addicts, they don't when my only at the other kind of charities, they deal with these addicts. They do not penalize them or arrest them or ask them to stop completely. They give them a dose of that cocaine or that drug that they are addicted to once every day. But these are medically prescribed, well, things. Doctor be more, the doctors will monitor how much dose that you have to take every single day. Otherwise, come Mr. Sonkoron, we're heading right now. Some of these people, they use this drug to release stress and anxiety. Now, that's where the medical experts comes in to determine what amount of dosage should you take on a daily basis. And the fact that we're using the word curb or control, that brings in, we talk about also the legislation. If you are caught having same amount of drugs in your hand, you get prosecution. You can go that. And if you have a pharmacy, you have to be licensed to sell this kind of the amount of drugs. There are certain drugs in Hamne, you cannot buy them over the counter, except for even painkiller like cocodamals. You can't even buy them in the counter because those are very strong painkillers. So that is control. And governments in the world have managed to put in these legislations, and people were also supporting those legislations by being disciplined not to go and buy these things. Man, if I want antibiotics, I buy them from Gambia when I'm coming home because I do have tonsillitis. So they would never give me antibiotics. They stop it. Now, so every time I go to Gambia, I buy a bunch of antibiotics. When I went to Morocco, I bought some antibiotics. They are very and they're very nice because if I drink them one
yow paos nga xam li nekk si implications si antibiotics resistance nga toog di
tongue is very painful. It's very, very painful. Small Daniel, one time I do call ambulance, they put in a form of water. Antibiotic. I can't keep doing that. Now, but the good thing, the good thing that I do, which is bad, if I have to drink 5, small of antibiotics. That's how I do it.
That's not good. Then your body becomes resistant because you're not finishing the dose, and that's even worse than But
I'm going back again to what we saying, we still the Gambian young person, jai lu gur nekusisa. There are better ways to demonstrate your manhood than sikaw jigen mbok. Well, henya we all say ne gur baganika gur jigen ye respect la. Te legi Gambia, of course, su fekke jegi magi ni ñoo jog bu ko xalé 20-30 years old ni. For you recharge. They have to because of yo kidam mo ñuwat. Yo hamaglo sax li nekk at the edge of bara. Yangi em kung Banjul terminal. If you want to speed up your journey to bara, it's either a telescope, a long one, sir. Or you said no jolly gigi. But still now.
You want to read and then do that at the same time. But what Ade is saying is that, with all due respect, the control powers is talking about is not even a fraction of tackling the problem. Drug abuse is rampant in the UK. Drug addiction is right in the West, including UK and USA. In 2018, 4,309 people died from drug poisoning in the UK. Out of the deaths, 2,917 were from drug misuse, which is an increase of 17% from the previous year. So it is a problem. That's what we're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Sonko,
Mrs. Sonko, can you hear us? He's having difficulty hearing us.
Okay, ma make clear. When we're talking about the control, we are talking about the law in place to control. Now, I can confidently say in the UK there is drug control because of the government. What those who die of these drugs use is overdose, and then I'm not talking about those specific and individual cases which happens everywhere in the world. But we can't rule out there is no drug control. Of course, there is, because of one, if you are caught with certain amount of drug in you, you get arrested, and it's illegal. Two, you cannot go over the counter and buy an antibiotics. It's controlled. Now, the drug addict, of course, will keep going and buying these drugs and use them. But when they come across these charities, they are put in camps and they are given these drugs at a reduced amount, to a level they stabilize their usage so they don't overdose themselves. Now, we're talking about, whether it's overdosed, the other name for misuse. Here too, we have to be very specific. Are we talking about somebody overdosing these things, or instead of taking 4, you take 100?
I think I would want Ade call. I would want Ade to come in there. But what I want to ask you, Paos, am na ñoo xam ne ñu ñoo laaj ñu ne ñu delluwaat to the chocolate Viagra a bit ñu jeexal foofu ngum. Su fekkee ne yaa ngi am ñeneenti jabar ñaar ñetti jabar ba ñeneen, and you cannot satisfy them, yaa ngi am problem of this issue, and you keep adding women. Ndax loolu itamit nekkut at some point some sort of indiscipline on the part of these people, and then you go and take this Viagra nga door di ko use, and then nga develop these problems nga liñ dee wax ñu ne kër boo dem nga ne ana paa bi ñu ne la dee na ana mère bi mu nga nale. you know.
du am kër Pa Ous moom fii kër Pa Ous moom day ana Pa Ous mu ngi nii ana madame cek leen ko seet
Now yow daal satisfaction jaralu la loolu de.
mukk mama why I'm for wife has nothing to do with sustain sexual energy. It doesn't have to.
You cannot satisfy them. You would
No, why the satisfaction, the number of wives you have, it has nothing to do with your energy level. Because remember, so for example, so I have 4 wives, every 2 days, the 4th wife, yang fa ega at the 4th day or the 6th or 7th day. Again, wife nga amulo ay machines ñi nga xamne every day na acha mu ngi ni. So manama fak ne li sometimes could be as a result of a sickness. 1 could be that, and number 2 could be as a result of hedna da nga say rek bu ko def fi say. So te lolu xewli Gambia right now legi xalé yi dañ say bu ko def hey kis mako tay te mo roba tamit góor bu laa cheese 10 years 5 years yaa ngi ko topp rek every day nga sol tubi romba ko mu laa kool di cheese ngay ko xëjaan di nekka paay boobu soo téye li ma xam mooy kii su ma ko téye kii maa ngi ko yifal kii xool mais nii soo téye mu dem uti viagra nag xam nga why is up to the health ministry li ngay defoon si Covid bi ba am fa naa a team going round field teams time boobu they amoon Gambia time long time they have what was called the board of health for Monica board of health.
Board of health, yeah.
Send office by one boy state house. My fee I extend no. So ñun man suma mam la ko ndegi xama board of health la ko ndegi. But recently la dogo xamne is called board of health. These were the people who were going in the field to sensitize these people and these young people at our generation sun masi they need to be sensitized about these things. Ne hol soko nan sax or soko use sax bu si adik di nga nekk xale bu am 20 years sax or 30 years nga adik ko right now di nga toog ak jigéen mu defal la everything do you can't function because of you have already been immune to something li nga xam ne without that do function.
Why, Paos, isn't it a problem at very young ages you see these problems amongst men? I mean, we're not just talking about older men, we're talking about even young men having erectile problems. And, you know, even again, Gambia, we see the abuse of linyo wahni taba, this tobacco being insert ko. That is also a problem because there's a lot of people as well. The health authorities are saying that there are loads of problems, complications with giving birth. There's a lot of problems with women getting cancer and all of these things because of these tobacco that they insert inside of them. What is it about our culture or our psyche that makes men think that they need to take Viagra to satisfy a woman or make a woman feel that she needs to take that extra taba, as it's called, or tobacco, to insert that inside of her to get some more satisfaction out of these things?
Ma li koko ñam rek xam lam saf nak.
Kon nek ñako ñam nañ kool.
Wow. Yen yi musa ekte no li xale yëpp ñu ngi ko def right now man dem naa ma Serekunda gis ay battery white yi mu ngi am jigéen bi ñu ngi ko jaay and I did ask li fan ko defaree is from te li ñu ko gina indi Gambia rampantly mooy mostly ñu dem Dubai dafa business ak Turkey fa yëpp dooree and bi Dubai ak Turkey dooree ba léegi in business indi Gambia si la bagage yu bon yi door because arabe yi ñoom dañu bëgg jigéen Arabi, they will do anything and they will, yeah. Mama, if I see a girl being happening, with due respect to all the women, they are very hardworking. I'm not talking about them. And the buma ken code nan elek nan wal ngel post ñoo xane jang dem Dubai dem fay dem pour nangam ni waxuñ lolu. But I am saying ne the culture of the nar. Digen mu am wang mom nekk bi Dubai. Cey so ya dimale wuté. They show you dollars. And you get tempted and they can be neexut you would be so nekkote jigéen bu jëlee ko si kër gu baax at kuy think about loo bàyyi gannaaw and what you are here for you be tempted to go into the route and they do those things now the natural human being, him or herself, it's like a machine. You already have something to go along with. Now, adding these things with to boost your sexual desire. You have or want to impress the other guy, or whether you, I don't know what is the motive, but whatever it is, it still can happen. And why can we contempt a man who's still hamne fay muna em right now? Because mama sabe jaw soko ame so mu tadam ñaay ñati round sax yaangi mom every single day ben 1 week Monday by Friday amulo 5 rounds 5 days right now. Why would you wanna let me go and buy something more? And then li nga xamne Sonko has explained that thing again. There is potential of a heart attack because of when you are on having a sex machine, or when you are on it right now, your heart rate beats very fast. And so and you have a very small heart, and the heart can only pump what is,
you're not exercising.
Exactly. Niku daw kuñ waxante nga daw tay bay ma sekunda amna foy em nga fata so daw si hill. If you are running comme so ko Gambia nga bëgg dem Ethiopia aussi East Africa bi nga go put train, the altitude I'm not for ega do not knock you out. The same thing happened right now. If you're having sex with this kind of tablets, drinking it, you go to a point being you reach that max level, the heart will not pump. For lofa amoy ay cardiac arrest nga am. Look at from the siko jigen. Post-mortem look at Leonan right now. What is more shameful, ma? Sa dik ñep ñu look at because léegi ku dee ñu wax Facebook.
Ku dee nag si bànneex moom boobu moom.
Yaay waay xam nga dañ dee wax ne góor ndeysaan suy see jabaram jabaram ndeysaan yàlla mu ko bina tiyaabo mu ko dem rek. Well, that is not justification to say ne tey moom tey nga dee tey ma dem rek. Well, mostly mama, these people ñu ko naan, they would not drink it for their wives, rather for their ex or girlfriends or side chicks. If I'm not sure.
Man fofu la bëggoon a duggal léegi ñëw nga fofu noonu.
Mu ngoog dafundi.
Yeah, so léegi li ma bëgg a laajte mooy Nancy is coming, she's joining us, she has babysitting issues but she'll be here soon. But Paos li ma bëgg a laaj mooy su fekkee ne noonu foofu la ñu tollu ñun mbir mi doo ko dee def pour satisfy sa jabar danga ko def pour sa side chicks yeeg ñu nekk si nga nekk di lifin yaa ngi put sa bopp at risk yaa ngi jël di chocolate viagra si ñoo wax ni nekkuloo di exercise kër boo dem ñu tegal la nga lekk ba sa biir bi fees you know and that's it. Li nga xam ne mooy I want to ask Paos and you know lan mooy the excitement with that lan moo ci neex su fekkee ne yow mënuloo ko lu tax nga forcé sa bopp man loolu laa mënta understand.
Ma lii du dara lut saay rek at dem si bi di boast about now waaw tey li ma ko def waaye li ma def we never say it affaire si defante la woon. Now health implications is very ma gis nga aw na bii nii the human body had a limit to what it can take and to what extent it can go. If you force it beyond or nga take more than even lu neex sax, the more you have it over the required limit rek ma da nga explode. Doomi aadama bi doomi aadama rek la. It can take what it can handle. Biir num em nii xool ñun suñ wéru ko suñ dogoo rek suñ dogee you ko it ba ne danga tey di bi suba li nga mer yëpp nga génne ci kaw ngoon suus right now. It doesn't work like that.
Again, he's talking about the same thing. Young men in Gambia, within a year, if you're married and your wife is not pregnant, obviously ñëpp ne danga am problem. You know, Nancy is here. Bakari is back. Hello? Nancy, then you continue. Go ahead. Nancy? Okay. Bakari?
Mm-hmm.
Bakari, we're talking about young men that get married, and within a year, if they don't have kids, they start getting teased by people. To what extent does that affect their psyche and gets them sometimes into this, psychologically? How does that affect them? Okay. Waa Banjul mom seen network bi mom.
But I'm on.
Okay, go Nancy. Neil.
Hi guys. I'm not feeling very well, so I just kind of stepped in last minute. I have not been watching, so I don't even know where you guys are. Mama, you look amazing, by the way. How did this get to Sweden? within a week.
No, Stanga. Very,
no,
very.
Stanga. You look absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I guess I came in late. What we are where at the top of the Viagra conversation?
Yes, we are asking Nancy, why is it that some of these men taking this chocolate Viagra, they're not taking it for their wives to satisfy their wives. They're taking it to satisfy their side chicks, etc. outside. And Dr. Sonko was talking about the health implications, but we're looking at it from just to begin with. Why? What is the reason for taking this Viagra? We've seen even people under 40, under 30 having problems with erectile dysfunction.
I think the issue of sexual health is not discussed at home. It's not, men don't necessarily have conversations with their wives about sex. Sex is such a taboo in Gambian culture. I think it's the lack of communication, it's the lack of knowledge, and the lack of confidence in our healthcare system, the lack of pretty much everything. I think we tend to attach sexual health to physique, oh, holal ki dafa ponkal, like he knows what he's doing. When we all women know that height, shoe size, fingers, despite what anybody tells you, is all a myth. It's all a myth, So I think it's just the inability for us to have a sexual conversation with our partners. The question of why do they tend to take Viagra for their girlfriends compared to their wives? I think most of the time these men tend to date women who are younger, who are substantially younger than their wives. Most of the time, women in their 50s are not as sexually active as, women in their 30s and 20s. I guess society have changed. I can't sit here and, we pretend that young girls are waiting to get married to have sex. Girls are having sex as young as 12 years old in this country. So, let's just keep it real. So I think the answer to that is men are dating younger girls. And I don't really think they understand the use of Viagra. I think most African men think that Viagra is used to enhance your size. I don't think they really understand that it's really about duration. And another question, and I'm asking the guys, who wants to have sex for like 2 hours?
Exactly.
I don't care how young this woman is. Who wants to have sex for 2 hours? Like, you don't have a life. I mean, come on now. I'm just saying, anything beyond 45 minutes, I'm bored. Come on, please. Next.
45 announcement for Nabarina,
45.
45
Let's talk about these paos. Nancy is right. Sometimes, they're doing it because they want to last longer. But for women, if you understand women and understand the sexual psyche of women, the time you spend really doesn't matter. It's what you do,
Why tamit mama ben am na góor yoo xamante ne bëggu ne yow kii lu mu yàppatee te gis nga léegi mama léegi jàngi Gambie dañoo toog di waxtaanee suma far bi déema suma paa bi mënul dara yàppat la
waaw ku fi amul lu baax ku fi mënul lu baax di nga nekk si suñu WhatsApp thread bi soo xamee ne ori Nigerian bi soo xamee ne amuloo lu baax don't be roaming around town with your disability
waaw waaye moo tax nag maa ngi benn conference mooy
Ibrahima kii joram ñu wati nga yanda yaaga di ñëw
Mama, this was in 2000.
I'm really sick. I'm literally just, here to,
They among a conference. We validate sexual health reproductive youth and sexual health reproductive policy in Jama Hollow. This was the way in 2000. So Mama Father was represent from the Youth Council, Youth Seat. Bima, I was saying, I can still remember if so or function properly, what you do more have sex in the dark. Now, guy like ma, what does that mean? Man, put the light off.
How does that help?
Well, they hang us so paying nyawal. The gis mo am lim tolu. Wa sun fay lam bay yep.
Hey, wait. Hey, ñun fu jëm.
Okay, Paul, what have turning off the lights got to do with and even if you turn the lights off, if what you're working with is not decent, the other party would know. I'm just saying, like, come on now. I'm just saying, I don't think men really understand that Viagra doesn't increase your size, it just prolongs sex. If you are a 1 minute, 2 minute kind of guy, by all means, please take Viagra. But if you're just using it really to abuse,
okay. Nance.
Okay.
Nance.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that we have to talk about this so men understand that the duration really does not matter. You can.
Okay, guys, let's put it out there. Anything past 45 minutes, please, it's exhausting. So if you don't have any erectile issues, don't abuse Viagra. Viagra is abused in this country. It is. I know. I've had so many stories. So many stories. It's abused in this country. In the US, Viagra is prescription. You cannot just go to any drugstore and pick it up. We know how Gambia is. Gambia, mom, nothing is prescription. Even antibiotics, you can go anywhere and just pick it and just kind of pick it up. So I think it's because we abuse different drugs and we use it as a recreational drug. We don't really understand the side effect and the health implication of Viagra. This is a very, very dangerous drug. I'm not a doctor, and I'm sure when the doctor gets on board, he will talk about the effects of Viagra. And I've had, again, let me make this very clear. I really have not experienced, not in Gambia, anybody who use Viagra, so I really can't speak on it on a personal level. But
duration matters. 1 minute tamit mom pass. Why tamit na?
No, Aneta, I said 45. Isn't that decent? Come on now, 2 hours of sex.
Too much, on
Mama,
person, what for? I mean, gosh. Hold on, you just call and you continue. Go ahead, call and you la deglu.
Porque ese program the program is very, very important. Usually, Lisa even in Gambia. Luma was Momorum Gori. Yami. This guy I jail Garabini, then go by. Understand? I jail Garabi, then go by. You get looking at that room, regular moon like amber, and go satisfied. I'm like so many ways. How many munga satisfied to Java? Understand? Now go like you, and you're more satisfied. Because you never important. So this is chicken by the day cheese because of this.
Yeah.
So do you have any even you know why is sorry for sorry my anyway. You know why you solo visa. Satisfied. Understand?
Okay.
So the for I chicken the niku chicken ka tada mum rek hanga. This chicken the impari fason. Then chicken hanga even so jere is a law winga use ko wala yenen fason ya amuni. So we are the satisfied episode da mum 1 second sa. Since pocket.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
So malumay advice Korea. Is
this Esa?
Understand? It's very, very, very important. So because of this. Society in Gambia.
Why buñ doon wax ay am de
time mo nekkoon Gambia maa ngi gis jigéen bi lay wala la moom mu ngi ñu ngi dem si pompe bi ni ñu ngi waxtaan xam nga keneen ngi la ko wax mu ne ko man suma góor bi kay moom 10 minutes la 10 minutes man keneen ngi mu ne dafa mel mu ne man suma góor bi ay 1 minute man gis nga loolu jigéen ki keneen ki dafay wane man suma góor ndege du dee foofu understand so loolu def de isi ay problème man kay seen programme bi dafa is very 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 important man loolu moo nekk suma condition
thank you
by ay naan garab yi ñu la ci
thank you very much
comme ni nga ko waxee man fooguma ne góor yu bari xam nañ ne sax you can satisfy a woman without nga penetrate ko I mean
no, mama, let's not even get into to all of this. I think if a man have issues lasting, I think I don't know what the medical term is and what is considered not normal, but I'm assuming anything below 5 minutes is a bit off. You need to go see a doctor. Let the doctor don't make me laugh. Let the doctor analyze you. Let the doctor physically examine you and tell you what you need. Because this might be a temporal condition. It might really be a temporal condition. And a lot of things can trigger these things. Stress,
Thank you.
So, Nance, I want you to answer this question. Kimune 45 minutes, does that include the foreplay or are you saying 45 minutes?
And why are you... Mama, I read that and intentionally ignore it. I mean...
we have to interact with the people commenting. So they're making they're asking valid questions. What do you define as this 45 minutes?
45 minutes, like Nubian Queen have put it, inclusive.
Okay, all inclusive. Okay.
All inclusive package.
Okay. I think, Ade, your question, interestingly, in the EU, there's a lot more control on drugs and, including anything to do with pharmaceutical drugs. It's very much controlled in the EU. You don't see this kind of drugs over counter. Motafini, most of the time in the EU, you buy it online and then they send it to you, but you cannot go to any pharmacy and just walk in and ask for Viagra. You don't get it. Viagra is not a solution for yeah.
I'm sorry. Fee. What fee we have a good number of all age population in, for example, in Europe.
Wow. Kii dafa am lu mu wax si balaa nga continuer Lamin mu ne te Dr. Sonko mu ngi ko doon wax stress si dépense stress si problème cost of living lii nii yëpp mun naa tax ba góor yi sax fi mu nekk nii mënuñoo perform parce que yow soo nekkee di xalaat lan laay gas ma njaboot gi ñu lekk ko ndax yow guddi si kaw lal di nga mun a am any sort of enjoyment si xewee is Viagra the solution?
It's definitely not. Gis nga stress lu bon la. Nit yi di nga am stress sax ante léegi this world right now ñu nga wone na fi Europe sax UK people are in their homes and anxiety and it's all due down to finances is one of them at partners as a partner relationships. These are all things that they trigger. So one of the on the top of the list is financial worries. It's everywhere. It's not only Gambia right now, so beneen ko ba jigéen ay yéen jigéen su meree stress guy su ko jikam laajee boppam daf dee bañ oo mu ne tey dama soona oo soo koy def sax yow doo ko def sax at baa neex because fekka sa xel bi and because body bi sa hormone si it daf ko kill and you won't have no feelings anymore because of yaa ngi stress yaa ngi mer you know yaa ngi think about everything and this goes down to the man as well góor yéen lekka yi am yi ne wax naa yéen lekka yi ne lekka dafa yomal góor comme na ndoxi koko xaw ma ndoxi koko ndoxi koko
bu neex boobu noonu yow xamuloo pay loolu dañ ko daan def rek de pour ñoom ñu enjoy ko yow doo ko enjoy
you know ba pare suna dóoree at bale xaw ma at slippers ban na ci
Camara, I am not messing with your sex time. Boy, if you want to go 3 hours, knock yourself out.
Why mom li ma wax mooy te wax na dëgg tamit nag Nancy, I don't think you know, if the man and the woman are satisfied in 5 minutes, that's what works for them. You can have
no, I'm saying, no, I said I'm not sure, but what is medically accepted? What duration? I'm not saying that people should have sex for 5 minutes or for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. I don't have that much stamina. Plus, I get bored easily. I'm sorry. I cannot be engaged in a sexual activity for more than after an hour. I need to drink water, drink my Coke, go about my business. And, you know, but I think that the root cause of it, and right now we're having a sexual conversation instead of really, you know, discussing this Viagra that every man, every time you have, especially these international doctors, when they come into Gambia and they're like, okay, we're going to test this many people for diabetes. The few times that I have volunteered, I'm telling you, I'm taking information for these, you know, middle-aged to older men, you know, name, date of birth, where you live. Once they're done with the doctor, they'll come back and tell me, Sumadong, amulo pill bubulobi. I didn't even know Viagra was a blue pill, by the way. I did not know. And I'm like, so buge garap danga dem galak doctor bi. You know, but I'm like, why is he shy to ask for a blue pill? I don't know what. And then my loud mouth is there, you know, doctor, whatever, he's asking for a blue pill. Then everybody turns around, kind of like everybody who knows. So I think if there's a demand for it and there isn't a lot of health complications, which I don't think it's necessarily true. I think there is a lot of health implications. Mm-hmm. Sorry, guys. We should really reanalyze it. Have the Ministry of Health or the pharmaceutical companies in the Gambia be involved, do a bit of sensitization, rather than it becoming, you know, like a third drug. You know, it's like an illegal substance that people are sharing around, selling it at a ridiculous price. So my advice to men is, before you go that route, go and see a medical professional. Go and see a doctor to see if your condition, sometimes like Paos is saying, you know, like stress, you know, and I don't even understand this. When I'm stressed, the last thing on my mind is getting laid. I'm sorry. It's for me, sex is a mental thing. It's not a mechanical thing where you just want to go at it like a rabbit. Maybe when I was younger. Now that I'm older and I have work, I have my son running around, you know. Mama, you young man, I would that. And they said when someone is lying, you tend to scratch your nose, and I am not lying. My nose is scratching, genuinely scratching. You are like but again, when I came clean, mama, so you're like 45 minutes is too long. I'm saying I'm perfectly fine with 45 minutes. Now, I never said I don't mind second and third round though. So go ahead, I'm listening.
To be honest, for some, Viagra has been the solution, which is why it took Pfizer from being a big drug company to the biggest. Although we all know size is not everything. Again,
thank you, Mr. Rami. See, Mama just brought the telephone conversation to Linger Post. I didn't say it. She did.
Ma fana and the focus one man personally, I'm not ruling out ne lini bahut. Fakna the focus more the overuse and the misuse and using it for a wrong purpose. You go use nyep, they don't know what they are using, they don't know the risk involved in it, they don't know to what extent and when to use it. And Lee, it's not about how do they have a big man, big fool. And it's not about being how big or small, you know.
Well, definitely.
You know, but man personally, near them say gym sir. That's why man I hate gym.
It's the biggest hit. You can go to the gym and have the biggest muscles in this world. It's okay.
And most of them, Nancy, are using these steroids, which means, you know,
thank you.
They don't last. They
thank you. You know, so because this is where the problem comes right now. The jigeni ñom ñoy manam fana jigen ñoo nek di tempt men into doing most of these things because of right now janga you 98% of jigen yep dañ go go am gym ku taxaw em ni kayan set. But let's look at their sexual functionality in bed because of yo li nga war am ci suuf yep yang ko yobu ci kaw ko ci size loxoy so len lere way Madam, that is the
funniest analogy. I'm not sure those two are mutually exclusive to our viewers. I think Paos is just, throwing things out there. Paos, I'm not well.
Okay, the science debate in the comment section. Some are saying that I don't think science matters, is how you use it. Others are saying science matters. But I think it's how you use it, definitely.
Fatima Samate Darame. Hey, life is about length and volume there.
It's not about that.
How make a disclaimer right now?
Thank you, Fatima. Size does matter.
And one man, I used to work with family planning. I was one time we have what we call the new FOI in Yundum, time Mr. Quebec. This was then back in the days of youth work. I was one time the vice president of the new FOI. This way an organization family planning. And then I know a lot about this health thing. Could you believe man? I'm very concerned about health. Man, small do mujigen chat bisa bimo judu man mako deliver. Was secret judu. So, and right now I work in Lapitan. I love these things, and these are things in every individual, whether good or jigen. This is your personal health, personal hygiene. You have to get out and read and know these things right now, But it's not about the size, it's not about the length all the time. It's about your health.
Promiscuity. You're not doing it because you have an erectile dysfunctional problem. You're taking Viagra because you have several partners that you want to satisfy all at the same time.
You're doing it because you're a sex addict. Pretty much, that's the right word, Mama.
No, sometimes promiscuity is just about, you have many partners. You want to satisfy all of them. Sometimes you want to go from this one to this one to this one all in the same day.
So are we back to the polygamy conversation? Because men with 3-4 wives, they're gonna deliver.
No, but lima wax moy ñoñu sa am nañ hit na every 2 days nga dem kena keram. Waye lima wax moy yow ben fan bi yow ben nit ki nga bëgga nekk ci kaw ñenenti jigen 5 jigen ci ben bes bi. Nga bëgga satisfy ñoñu yep. Of course, this is you will have a Zano Sansanire.
Michael Jackson in the house.
Well, yes, size debate is going on there.
How are you, Nancy? And how are you, Mama Linga?
This is the first time that we're meeting here. I'm late and I'm sick today, so I can't even stay long. I just decided to jump in and not,
Well, I do know you always chicken out whenever I come in. I hope today you'll have the courage to stay.
Okay, Zanu, tell me this. 2 minutes. Zanu, does size matter?
I think women should answer that. I wouldn't know. I don't know. Good sex matter, and giving your woman good sex does matter. So whatever tools you have with you, know that it's your own tool. You just have to know the right way to use your tool.
You use Viagra that has implications on your health. That doesn't matter as well.
You're asking two questions at the same time. So let's go back to the previous question.
Okay.
You did ask me if size matter. Manela, every individual have their own tool. So if size matter, I think that's up to the Jigeni can answer that. As a man, I do know the way you give your woman good sex matter. And it's up to you, the guy, to know how to use your tool.
I disagree, Zanu. Then let's have our first disagreement. I think being intimate with anybody, I think it takes two to tango. One person, you can have volume, length, skills. If you're dealing with a boring individual who's laying down there like a dead fish, forget it. It's a wrap. It takes two to tango. I'm sorry. And I think I have this rule. If we've gone to the point of being intimate, I'm going to tell you what I like. I'm going to have a sexual conversation with you. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is how you do it. I'm going to give you instructions. There's a manual. I have a, manual.
Hold on.
So fast.
I'm kind of confused here, though.
Why?
What are you disagreeing with? That's what I'm confused about.
You just said, Nick, it's about if the man gotta know how to use his tool. And I said, even if the man knows how to use his tool and the woman doesn't know how to, I guess, doesn't know how to hold her end of the bargain, then I'm not sure, the sex is going to be good. At least that is my own personal belief.
No, I think you jump to the subject without understanding what the question was. I think Mama Linger asks a different question, different from is intimacy should be mutual or not. I think that's what you're saying. Should intimacy be mutual?
You're saying you please the person using the tools, and Nancy is saying even if you use those tools and the person
I say you should know how to use your tool, because you cannot change that. No, what they learn. What if I sold to be? So fake yala daf la jox bu rëy and you don't know how to use it, there's no use for it. Yala tamit mun na la jox bu ndaw and you have a better knowledge of knowing how to use it. Mane here, what matters is how you satisfy your partner. Okay? If your partner is interested in you having a big size and even know nothing or ways of knowing how to use it, it doesn't benefit you. So if your partner has the little one and knows the best way to use it to your satisfaction, then you guys have a win-win situation.
I think
I'm kind of confused as to what she is trying
it's mutual. It's to a large extent, it's mutual, and what you understand as the partner's body. But a lot of men.
So Mama, I want to come in there. I also think that, are we talking about, I think when it comes to the issue of being intimate and having sex, a lot of things play a role. Is this a man that are you in love with your partner? I know men can literally bang 5-6 women and have zero emotions. And I know most women,
you don't know that
the average woman.
You don't know that for sure. That's you just judging.
I know a man.
Woman understanding.
Let me rephrase that, Zanu. We can sit here and talk about technicalities, but I am saying I know a few men who literally, would sleep with a girl with absolutely zero emotional connection to them. Oh, they're just sleeping with the girl because the girl is pretty. They're just sleeping with the girl because the girl have big titties. They're just sleeping because for their own, again, what Mama said before. What I'm saying is, I personally, based on my experience, sex is better when emotions are involved. Most women, and I'm speaking for women, I know this. I'm a woman. I talk to my girlfriends. Right. Most women will not sleep with a man that they are not attracted to. Yep. Women do not do mechanical sex.
But there are a lot of them selling for it. There are a lot of them trading with it. It's in the market. Now it's almost one of the cheapest commodity out there.
What's the cheapest commodity out there?
Well, there is a whole lot of women selling it out there.
That's their job. Prostitution.
Yeah, so then there is a whole lot of women that go into intimacy without feeling. There's tons of them. There's more
I think
women doing it than men.
You said there are what?
More women going into sexual relationship without the emotional connection.
Really?
Yes. That's why we have a whole lot of them outside there trading it.
And we have a whole lot of men also
buying it.
They're not also going in there with any emotion.
Exactly. Who is their client?
Okay. Who is the killer? Who is the supplier?
I mean, it's demand and supply. Zanu is demand and supply. If you have 10 prostitutes out in the street and one man, guess what? The next day when you come, it will be narrowed down because you will either change streets.
The narration,
demand and supply. If the men weren't demanding, we come to the supply will not be as high.
We are going off the topic now.
Okay, so let's get back.
And we can go back. We can debate this.
Selling your body has nothing to do with intimacy. So let's go back.
We just should avoid Mama Linga.
Helen, I want us to go back.
Right, let me just say one word: is that generalization in any form is just always going to have some mistakes. We should avoid generalization. So go ahead.
I want us to go back to why. So we can finish this topic about this chocolate Viagra. Why do men feel that they need to take these drugs? I know women feel that the women are doing it because the women are taking this tobacco, inserting it in their private parts because it enhances their orgasm or whatever. But why are men taking these drugs to please? Because they're not doing it to please themselves; they're doing it to please women. Why is that the case?
Asking that question, Mama Linga, it's not difficult to answer. People go to the doctor because they're sick. People go to the shop to buy things because they want food. If you're taking anything to enhance you, it's because you have a need for it. We're just gonna sit here and kind of give all negative view when it comes to Viagra, but Viagra is just like any other pill. When abused, it will have.
When abused, go ahead. Yes, I'm glad you came up.
When abused, it will have implications like any other drug. Like any other drug, even paracetamol can cure you, but 10 of it would fuck you up. If you drink a whole lot of water, it's good for you, but a whole lot of it will mess you up. It is like any other thing that we sell and buy. Okay? So, should we use it? Is that the question?
Yes, should we use it?
Well, I cannot speak in general terms. I don't know what every individual is dealing with. But I will tell you this, as much as sex is good and as much as us men want it, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And hamgarek yombutawa, but depending on the velocity you go, aksa and trying to satisfy this whole lot of women around you, my friend, at one point you would need some form of enhancement because all of this is energy going off you. Women don't get off energy when they're having sex. Men give out the energy. Women receive it.
Says who? Says who? What kind of woman are you sleeping with?
What energy? Okay, I think we're jumping. What is energy in this? Can you guys define that for me? I think
Zanu, when you say energy, I mean, unless it's different from the generic definition of energy is energy. You just said men use more energy than women during sex. We all know what energy is. Unless you are, you know what energy is energy. I'm not sitting here and even dealing with the technical part of what energy is. But all I'm saying is, don't sit here and say men use more energy during sex than women. Come on now.
It's not the same. It's not the same. I can tell
what's the difference. What is the difference?
The difference is you guys' understanding of what I mean by energy is the force in which you put into sex.
And only a man puts energy into sex.
The stamina you put into sex. That's not what.
And
I'm
only
saying.
men put stamina in during sex.
Just let me finish. Just let me finish. When we erect,
I don't feel well.
Okay, swing down way. Where do we fall? Do we fall? Do we give it out in the bed? Do we just spread it on the room? It goes inside the woman. What goes inside a man from a woman? Tell me.
Zanu, that does not define energy. But let me get back to this. Sorry. Let
me come and help him out.
Somebody's saying that, when you hold on, caller. Somebody are they saying that when men see sex as something similar to an Olympic competition, then it becomes a problem, because somebody like Zanu will say that I go for 2 hours. Then, for example, the 45-minute man that Nancy is talking about will then feel that, I'm not adequate, and go and take this Viagra to feel that he can also go for 2 hours, not realizing that 2 hours, quality over quantity. We're not talking about how long you've been in there, just, doing whatever. We're talking about how effective it's been whilst you were there.
Exactly, that's what I said.
It's totally different. But I think what we need to, so we can close this topic and move on, is that, these things, like you said, have side effects. Our society of culture of not exercising, eating sugary foods, eating very, very oily foods, the diet that we have with diabetes, hypertension, and all of these things does not support the use of Viagra as an everyday recreational drug. And that's what we need to get the message out there to the people that are listening. If you keep taking these drugs as a recreational drug, you risk cardiovascular problems, because you do not have the stamina. You're not training, you're not doing the things that are required, and you're not going to a doctor to ascertain whether you're even fit or to use these drugs long term. So these are the things this chocolate Viagra, then see what our Banjul, the health officials, unfortunately, Sonko line but the health officials, it's a public health issue, come the mental health that I want us to move to. It's a public health issue, but you sensitize on the dangers of these things and explain in detail why it is important for you buy health. Nanjel caller being continue. Caller, go ahead, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes,
Assalamu alaikum. I don't want to contribute to the program.
Go ahead, caller.
Because so holy affair Viagra. The main reason because you will use right now is like you can use for that reason. Because society Viagra, you can use like your like they don't have any problem with their sexual desire and stuff. Why they need to use just to show that I go then you take it and stuff, which is totally wrong. You are abusing the drug. And then secondly, I'm thinking you are coming to Agbori, you have to use sensei also. Put me has sensei why they don't know that duration better. But they put the family has to say, Mansilmagis. Man, I feel like Viagra, you can use when you have a problem with sex. last longer, and then maybe then I'm pour faju.
So doctor mo prescribe
and then you are common use for that reason you use ko. Because ni dañ lay relève de lu bari c'est say yow rek ya ko mëna neexal sa biir nek yak sa jëkkër, it depends on both of you. Seen ñaar la des. Naka ngeen neexal but nekkut loo xamantene like pilsini mooy tax mu neexal sa sëy. Am na ñu ko soxla, am na ñu ko yelloo, ñooñu mën nañ ko use to satisfy themselves. But not ñoo xamantene yéen everything is okay with you people. So man li moy dundal lo xamanteni loolu la bëggoon a contribuer daal ni ñu xamé ko noonu ndaw ñu bàyyi di abuse drug bi nañu nañ bàyyi di abuse drug bi te xam drugs yi fan lañ ko war a use ak fuñ ko war a use
definitely because yow soo ko dooree definitely you're in your 20s in your 30s at the height of your strength nga door ko balaa nga egg ay 40 yooyu fekk jeexal nga tak and this is the problem.
This is what we need to let xale ndaw yi li lañ war a xam ne suñ ko use like di ko abuse and dinañ tollu foo xamante ni duñ mën a ci seen bopp dara and then at that spot viagra mën a tula dara so yaxal nga sa life noonu rek for no reason.
Definitely. Thank you, caller. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Ma jël fii nii Anna Sarr. Anna, go ahead, then you continue.
Hello, assalamualaikum.
Ñu ngi laa déglu.
Post mama ak host yéen ñëpp you're doing well as usual. Man dañ ma block Facebook daf ma block for 2 days. Mu restrict ma ba 29 days.
Right.
So then moo tax mënuma nekk di Twitter di comment and I doubt even people will see me even on Facebook or not. Waaye loolu moo xew waaye maa ngi seetaan mun nga seetaan but you can't react, you can't comment and all that obviously.
Ko tooñ.
Ko tooñati ak loo wax bañ la yóbbu Facebook jël.
Baba ja xam nga problème bu am ci àdduna Baba ja bokkale fa ko ma balaa dem di misbehave ñu ne ma karab block you know dama ko block buñ ma génnee dama dem block ko parce que dama sonn si yëfam donc maa ngi seetaan I can't comment moom maa ngi bëgg a misbehave ba bëgg a dee you know maa ngi bëgg a join ñoom awakan ñoom Nubian Queen ak Fatou Sow waaye I can't anyway maa ngi seetaan di wax ne rek the issue of sex is something emotional, Mama. They take it so serious and all that. It's about being connected to your partner and all that. Motto is very paramount. So they may be say, Muneka lo hamneni is going to be a long-term thing and potentially something eternal. Naneka ko hamneni bugangoko. You know, and I actually magi then they want is why to get up there them mean do the hell of why can me connection book but they may be form rek. Then I give me challenges, unity, the amnesty, sex, and all those things. But they want you. So this is a partner who struggle with their confidence. We again be muy gorbi. Yo, si sa lohala neka, purga try, purga murige confidence in that part. You know, sexually. Ngadiko praise. Never nedang kona or anything like that. Always be honest in your relationship. But then, you know, they calm down. They definitely communication is very important in everything you see. But then again, damage because they happen. Most especially men. Women know definitely the why men they gonna garawe because then they tailor misuse senyarami before you are certain age. Then they use harmful drugs and all those things. Things they eat. Even we eat rice a lot. Mama rice.
In fact, mune West Africans, whether in the diaspora or in Africa, have the highest rates of diabetes and high blood pressure because of their diet. So you're so bole lolu at jail these drugs to do they exercise, but parenekulo the checks a diet. I'm not come doctor
Jimbo bi ak benachin bi.
You know, even the not just the Jimbo and the Benachin, why even over 40, you have to check for prostate cancer and all of these things. And our men are not into the habit of going for routine checks because
I think if you're below 40 and taking Viagra at this point, there's something definitely wrong with you.
Because some people are not taking it because they have a problem. They're taking it because of the misconception that they think they would last longer, and that's not Viagra is for. Viagra is to Nikombo Wahe it increases the blood supply to your sex organ and does makes the erection better, but it doesn't make you last longer. So you're
it does not.
You're
it
just,
does not. I was about to buy it, so it does not make you last longer. I thought that was the role of Viagra. No, I need someone to correct me on this. What do you mean?
It makes you last long. I don't think Mo
is a medical professional. Yeah, Mo is a.
It's potentials, but it's one of its least potentials as well.
Yeah, I mean
it's
an erection.
How come you ladies know more of this than us men? Yeah, is there a guy out there?
Because of the misconception, Zanu, this is what we're talking about. It's not about how long. It's about helping you to get an erection, and that helping you to get an erection. If you continue to abuse it, 2 hours later nga buga def si jigen bi nga use that for futam Viagra nga demat si benen jigen nga use that for Viagra pa os dama buga nga duga fini amna ñu bari ñuy wax ne you know unfortunately da nga de gis ño xamne they at a young age ñu abuse this ba nga xamne bala ñoo mak fekk munatuñ dara sen muscles has a problem and everything, and Viagra does not help.
For now, I think bima dore for now lulawa.
Okay, hold on, I'll compare us because then nga duga wat. Okay, go ahead.
Bima dore for now lulawa is one of the side effects of taking these drugs at a very early age, comme nuko Zanu waxe. At the age of 20, 30, 40, when you are meant to be sandaw bi nga xamne mun nga lu neka, ya me katan lu neka, and you are taking these things, you are slowly degrading your strength, your that sub performance in terms of sexual strength. Yange yoka si bi nga xamne need lo right now. And of course, if you are at the age bi nga xamne dang ko need fu njola ko do effective do dox because of somebody is already been immune to general example antibiotics. If you keep taking it before surgery or think what need mostly do respond effectively. Even to respond do the effect the level of effectiveness right now. Why with this Viagra it is the same theory. Nga mean ko nga dem ba soxla ko ñu wara ko jox right now fekk ne ki sa mami la won. So it affects your ability, and the medication or the drug is not bad, but it's been used for the wrong purpose and by the wrong people and at the wrong time. But the medication is bad. Yeah.
And we have to be careful. Kilimo, Mr. Jallo, unfortunately, we have people taking this stuff without understanding the health implications. We allow this dangerous stuff into the market, and responsible agents are just, bystanders. When we go into the club drugs like ecstasy and all of these things, it's the same thing. You see these boys using it, these girls using it, and there's no sort of control anywhere that we see. And then I think our health authorities really need to take note and try and do something about this, whether it's sensitization. I don't see a lot of health sensitization on our TVs, especially our national TV, etc. These subjects, yes, they're uncomfortable, but we need to talk about them because they're a problem in our society, whether we want to accept it or not. So
I think they do have the Malagis QTV. They do have these things. Why haven't got to admit talking about a health talk on TV is not just a solution. Now we need to look at society. What is the hot topic or linga hamne is circulating around? Linga hamne is a current problem, and we have events and programs on those things. Linga hamne you are addressing the problem as of when and at the heart of the people who are affected. But if, for example, if you make policies that does not address the needs of the people, it's not a good policy, it's not a good law. Because laws and policies are meant to change something. They are meant to address a current issue, a current problem. We bring in solution. Now, this Viagra is been sold push Gambia. I'm not being push Senegal. I'm you have pharmacies, people they sell paracetamol ay ñoket ay garabi janax ñu ngi téye ay pus-pus ñu ngi dox ñu ngi ko jaay ñu ngi jaay ay viagra mu am de Sarakunda ku nekk xam na ko Gambia am na benn boori bambou si booy police bi am na ko fay toog di jaay garab yi naka am na ñu ko sinjang xam nga sinjang am na ñu jaay ay butéel yi ay dañ fay xooj ay banta ñu ngi koy ooy ay ñu soo ko naanee yooyu moo gën a graaw sinjang yooyu gën a graaw viagra. So who is controlling these traditional medications? Who is policing these things? Who is regulating these things? You know, moringa legi ñu ngi ko dafa tii di ko jaay. A moringa in a tea bag, you have high blood, you are killing yourself because of you are not knowing the amount of dose that you are injecting into your body. Is a level blood level to a limit being a hamne. Somebody being mama, the heart can only pump what it can pump. You get a cardiac arrest, you get a heart attack is the last stage of heart failure. Ngade.
But why cardiovascular problems it's associated to it's a problem. I'm not didn't know on FGM and men use it to satisfy their women because of FGM. I think that is a total misconception, and we will talk about it. But again, Lyndon was Viagra moy. It was recognized as an erectile dysfunction was recognized as a problem globally. So when this Viagra hit the market, men were able to get it up who couldn't get it up for more than 10 years before. You know, these men were struggling. 5 years, they couldn't get it up. All of a sudden, Viagra knew they could. And they were giving these testimonies. And then it started flying off the shelves. Ibu Jallo is asking who brought it to Gambia and how is it being marketed there. Again, you know, it's just you know, you can go to any shop, and apparently you can go to any shop and buy it, and people are bringing it into the country willy-nilly without any sort of controls or whatever. So the, people are being able to access it very easily, and that's a problem. So like Diro said, this is a drug that treats not being erectile dysfunction, basically not being able to get it up. But people have the misconception it can also help you to last longer, which is not really the case, but that is how people see it. Anna Mabila nga duga ma jël yeneen kola itamit quickly.
Mama, pour la pop rek mo fi ma doon waxee si affaire diet bi and everything. Like xale yi am na ñoo xam ne nii depuis seen xale yàlla problème bi amee through seen activities and also liñ dee lekka nga dem ba mag yow nga foog ne okay si yow la or anything danga am pour jump rek jël garab naan ko because loolu nga foog ne mooy immediate lu ko faj fekk du loolu. ma bëgg ne Africa we are so blessed with herbs. maa ngi dégg pa aus mu ngi woy garab ñu ngi dugal ay herbs si ay butéel and all those things. Mu ne yooyu moo gën a garaaw Viagra. Which is I think is untrue because let's say take a place like Nigeria or them Benin City and all this yangi am ade fofu nonu ci platform bi I'm sure dina listen am na half yinge oy agbo jadi garab la yo xamne ni ngam ko def ci ndox rek di ko nan lolu usually dañ ko de jox even xale yi sax da nga gis ne ñoom seen system bi it flushes things out ba pare usually ñoom bindé lekk comme ay sukur ni. Never. You also wonder how they survive without sugar because we get to used to like even the people so herbs, Monica, one of the best things that God had actually given Africans, but then you realizing nakala valuable. Madama de one herbs, so more gonna listen to diamonds, mama. Herbs, I'm you body you more jagarte. Tuba bisa dañ dee jëli xaar boole ko seen garab yi Africa ñu ngi we are so blessed why unfortunately duñ dee xam ba tuba bi jël ko si lañ dee soog a xam yeneen
to do something like moringa which is you know now a super drug but ñun am moringa Gambia di ko tayee cere mooy laalo bi and all of these things but we are not you know again ci fi mu nekk nii bàyyi nañ cere bi ñun maalo lañ dee gën a lekk than the cere which is much healthier because yaa ngi si def moringa bi you know so it's the lifestyle that is a problem as well. Thank you. But how am I doing and callers you?
Ataya bi mama.
Ataya bi bari sukur.
Kuy nekk xale bu jigéen gundam xale bu góor yaa ngi naan ataya. All those things are contributory factors la. Maa ngi leen di bàyyi next time inshallah.
Thank you so much. Dama bëgg ñu
Hello.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So now I think it's better because you're home. So it might
Yeah, now it's better. I just arrived so
Thank
there
God.
is better now.
We're talking about
So
the risk.
if I can just get just seconds, I arrange here, then join you. Is that okay? Just give me a few seconds.
I'll mute you, and then you can prepare yourself. Are you
Yes,
on?
yes.
Can you hear us? So what we want to do is just to end this section and move on to the drug abuse as well that is happening in Gambia. But to end this, we want to talk about how do we sensitize people on the use of Viagra, number one. And number two, Paos and Zano, what do we do as a society? Because whether we want to accept it or not, they use Viagra, people who should have no business using Viagra are using Viagra in Banjul in combination with other drugs like ecstasy and everything else. And it is becoming a problem, not only, mental health, physical health, etc. And you develop problems later on in life. Amna ko ma doon waxal tey mu ne ma ñaata jigéen mu ne ma góor yi foog ne dañoo xaasu jigéen yi or whatever defuñ ko jigéen yi because yow at the end of the day yow yaa dee am problem jigéen pour mu am problem sexually is very very the probability of that happening is very low. So yow yaa dee am problem most of the time.
Joxe energy jigéen moom du joxe energy.
Gis nga So Paos, this Bakari, I don't know if you can hear me, but this abuse of ecstasy mixed with Viagra for the young men. We're not even talking about older men. We're talking about young men who are using Viagra in combination with ecstasy, in combination with other recreational drugs. In India.
Why are you separating all men though? It's just men. It's just the use of Viagra. I thought that's the topic.
Yeah, but Zano, when you're young, it's even worse. I know some are saying that erectile dysfunction has no age, etc. But at least when you're young, you have more strength than somebody who's older.
Yes, but just the use of it. That's what we are talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Li man foog ma ne xëy na okay ñun as activists and talkatives we will keep talking because xëy na we know a little and we want to share but I wish every Gambian or everybody watching is listening, especially Gambia, because of Gambia is a country bi nga xam ne man if I also live in there full time I will be very careful what I intake due to the fact when things goes wrong our healthcare system is very bad. Now, the fact that we live in a country bi nga xam ne amuñ these things like these specialist consultants who can look at and diagnose these things, these complex medical issues. So hapune amuñ ko. It's very important. These young people, they know what they are getting into. Now, sometimes we do blame governments, yes, but we have councils, KMC, Bank City Council. They are the ones who go to the market and collect these taxes from these people right now. Legi, anybody else, man, someone take £2,000, they will not start a pharmacy in the Gambia without no license. And I can order my medications from Tesco and from Asda and from these private companies in Hamne. I can just go and buy them or eBay or Amazon. Now, these are things in Hamne are the main cause of this problem. Now, coming down to the root cause, coming down to the users, my gurni, neka guria, you don't have to have anything foreign. Man, jigen bu mustay, jigen bu jangate right now. So to a good munan these tablets elegance when you buy ko because conte like without that will he function? Now, I'm not going to call Kuan and say, but you get that's because of yini, because of yes, it does happen. Why what happened in day one? Why were you convinced that this is my right man, this is my husband? Why were you convinced that she is my wife? Because of when you must have had time with that person, what happened in that night? Or what happened during those periods to get them together? Because amul ken kuñ forcé ka ma takala nga nangu daga dafa am fo len jaar mu neex nga bëgg now again I'm something very important to enjoy this sex with somebody else without the feeling and the love and the emotions that connect you two together, there is no amount of garab buy tax nga naan nga mën a feel ne yes I'm a man or I'm a woman, because you need to feel the person that you are in bed with. You need to have that intimate relationship with that person. So this Viagra thing right now is doing more harm medically in your body than what you think is physically helping you. So
I have this caller. Let's take her. She's been on the line for so long. Mariama, sorry. I just realized that you were on the line for so long. Yeah, go ahead.
Very educative.
Thank
so
you.
Viagra bi loolu nay wax yëpp dëgg la even America fii am nañ góor yoo xam ne dañ koy use and te léegi internet bi loo xam ne la gis lu la jaaxal lu nekk da nga war a dugal Google about it. Gis nga sex pills yi it's not even about the Viagra but sex pills yaa ngi si marché bi duñ appliqué. So lii dañ soog ne comme like oh mag yi ñoo ko dee use paa yi no gis naa kenn 35-year-old use te guess what borom ngi am high blood pressure boo xam ne loolu doctor every time su demee si doctor bi daf ko dee prescribe like high blood grab pour bu mooy naan am na benn bés maag moom ñu ngi waxtaan ma ne ko ne yow fooguloo ne lii moo la dee affect and one thing tamit multiple sexual partners is not good for men. Gis nga sex nekkul loo xam ne la da nga war a egg si kaw jigéen 30 minutes bara góor bi di wàcca non loolu rey sa boppa la 20 minutes bara ngay wàcca loolu rey sa boppa loolu ban enjoy ngeen say enjoy doo leen si enjoy loolu jihaad la so soo eggee si kaw jigéen few minutes wàccal gis nga waaye soo am multiple sex partners right because soo demee si penda moom dina ko jël like let's say balaa muy ñëw Mariama moom mu jël ko 2 hours so loolu yëpp dafay sonal borom yow sa waxee da ngay satisfy loo ñooñu yëpp yow yaa ngi pass gasta baagale boppa gis nga nit ku nekk amal benn sexual
subhanallah wallahi talaay
nga wàcce naan sex pills dara la fi fekka ku nekk xam nga sa partner yow lan moo la dee daane wala lan moo dee ekkati borom yaa ngi understand waaye soo demee si kii tey nga dem si kale ëllëg nga dem si kale gannaaw ëllëg loolu dafay dugal borom si problème and one thing tamit ñun Gambia leer na dama ko seetlu even America fii ñun Gambian society bi kidney failure dafa bëri America fii Gambian su fi am kidney problems ñu bëri ñu si nga xam ne buggu ñoo ñibbi because garab yuñ fi dee am duñ ko am Gambia xam ngeen Gambia every day yaa ngi gis internet about dialysis Gambia leena laa mu ne suñu lekka yi dañ ko war a seetaan xaw ma si jibo bi la xaw ma si maalo bi la ñun ñëpp xam nañu ñun Gambia ñun dañu gomloo leena loo xam ne soo lekkutee maalo doo suur man maa ngi nii fii maa ngi
Maju Nokos ak Aja
dee su ma lekkutee maalo daf tee mel ni man lekkuma lu rëy and maalo is not healthy maalo is starch dëgg la ñun Gambia loolu rek lañ am waaye am na lekka yu bari yoo xam ne doomi aadama mun na koo lekka dina suur te borom du affect si healtham bi sukur bu bari dañ ko war a wàññi maalo bi at least once ñu koy lekka si bés bi jigéen bu lekka jimbo dëgg la du dee neexal tooga de jigéen soo mënutee tooga mënuloo tooga no jigéen am na tooga noo koy toogee soo fa defutee jimbo du ñu dañoo lekk ba pare duñ xam ne jimbo nekku si sax
It seems like we've lost our caller and Mama Linger, but I mean, Paos, if you just wanna control the line, or just let our okay, yes.
Why do you dem lopitaan borom da ngay gis di complain boppa bu beeti yaa ngi am health insurance demal nga check on yourself jigéen ñi rek ñoo dee busy ñuy dem lopitaan excuse me ñuy dem lopitaan wala di yóbbu suñ doom yi lopitaan góor yi dégg nga they work really hard why is good nga jël sa time bés nga dem lopitaan ñu check sa yaram bi nga ñëw toog waaye di lekka di toog you don't know what's going on with your body moto sax soo ko yóbbutee ñu dem check ko bés di nga jóg taal sa moto rek moto bi du taala because passing the kasna. Sex pills mom is not good, it's not healthy. Hapsi mom de gonna pa us mune hapsi why pa us hapsi bah nañ de. Gis nga moringa bi is really good. Lolu mom bu la ci kenn na. So lekk sa maalo sa jëlal nebedaay bi buñ wol li suy ko foofu rek nga lekk dara du la metti boobu maa leen ko jox jërëjëf.
Thank you. Soxna Mariam safal bi ñu ngi ci doon wax waaye dañ ko bëgg a indi another day because dañ bëgg a move on because léegi Bakary egg na kër so we can talk about the mental effects yi nga xam ne moom la lii am because xam nañ ne tamit mental health fi nekk ni is almost a pandemic in Gambia. We have a huge problem of mental health. Dafa mel ni
problem a bari.
Yeah, suñ problème a bari definitely waaye li ki doon wax dafa am solo kola bi li mu wax dafa am solo torop and I think men should be aware and I think we need to be able to have these conversations like I said pour ñu xam ñun ci suñ boppa ci suñ biir what is going on paos there are health implications to this Sonko ñëwee ñu dugga ci youth yi tamit yi nga xam ne ñu ngi abuse these drugs as well I jeexal Viagra issue bi I don't know if you can hear us dama bëgg ñu wax what is the solution moving forward? How do we tackle this issue about the misuse of Viagra? Because like liñ fi wax yépp soo ko tënkee balaa ngaa use Viagra war nañoo check sa blood pressure war ngaa dem di def checks soo nekkee over 40 war ngaa nekk nit koo xam ne yaa ngi def li nga xam ne mooy di dem def prostate cancer checks yi nii and all of these health checks yi nga xam ne nekkuñ di ko def. What is the solution in terms of sensitizing people? Couldn't you understand it? They need to be more health conscious. Balanga jeli, but the misconception ne Viagra daf la def nga gëna yaga. In fact, it's to get you up, it's not really the time you spend, but to be able to help you get up if you cannot get up. Lolu moy the use of Viagra. Let's just try and come up with recommendations. What's the way forward? How do we ensure that we're having these conversations about this Viagra? And I'm not kuma text munema. Yéen a ngi wax about Viagra bi waaye yéen a ngi fàtte ne am na yoo xam ne sax they are not right Viagra am na yoo xam ne copy Viagra boo xam ne la dafa am health implications am na yoo xam ne Viagra bu baax bi te ñu ngi koo jaay si biir dëkk bi Gambia nit ñi ngi koo jël di ko naan and it has li nga xam ne mooy it has consequences.
mooy yi ma doon wax rek mooy borom pus-pus yi am yi jee ko import from Sénégal léegi because léegi am na yoo xam ne are locally made people are ñu ngi jaxase lu nekk and te yooyu yëpp none of those things are medically tested and they are not even given the approval maanaam foo ne garab balaa ko ne dafa di jaay it has to go to the lab, it has to be tested, it has to be it has to go to all those vetting and now we are seeing these things nit yi ñu ngi ko defar seen kër yi di ko génne di ko jaay naan soo ko naanee soo xoolee lii waxuñ ne loolu yëpp bon na waaye ndax are you getting the right amount of dose that you need to take to solve your problem bi nga am fana lii is the focus because mënuñoo wax kenn ne bul naan for example comme gars yi ñu ko defee gawe geeg pasti geeg noonu ak minti yeeg noonu seen jour in fact the worst one was crystal loolu yëpp crystal na si ma xeeloo xaw ma dama koy dégg rek
lan mooy crystal
non crystal gars yi seetaan ñoom ana ñoom Fatou Sow kana ko xam
where is mama of the screen where is mama of the screen
these are all things nga xam ne mama jigéen yi léegi ñu ngi ko xam a improvise ñu ngi ko xam nga yëpp pour enhance their sexual pleasure te is wow ne most of these things it works but the misuse act that is what is here in question now coming back to recommendations man
now I'm curious what is crystal the crystal that you wear the bead around your waist
no Lee is like crystal
I am being extremely genuine right now. I've never had it.
Come from the mel. It's like a mental.
And what? And you inject it?
No, you insert it into your.
You insert it?
Yeah.
Or you put it
on.
Does
it melt? No, I'm curious.
Nancy,
I'm really being curious right now.
No. Go to google.com. What is bab? Okay. So gis nga all these things here, mama for the being started, the people started the migrate, the took them. Now I used to say the world, we live in a globalized world, and globalization is taking place, and Gambia is no exception to this. Now, what people are traveling, when people travel other countries, what they see that it works and people are, it's a high demand in those countries. You want to bring into your country and explore and say, leader munache am halis. Now, this is where our customs, it's not only the health department to control our borders. By that time, one of my friends once was in crystal. How musma ko ham. Nekete, there's a limit you are allowed to get in this country, in UK. Man locked in kon gairi mati because hamling pulan.
Yes,
it's illegal.
Yeah.
So we need to put some control mechanism. Our borders, customs has to play a big role because these bagas nyo jay ni amul fañ ko defale Gambia. They are imported. Now, if these things are imported in the Gambia, how can you illegalize or criminalize prostitution, and you are allowing these things to come into the country? It doesn't work. If you want to criminalize prostitution, which of course is a criminal offense, now do not legalize these small substances that encourage the hidden prostitution that happen in this country. So munuño comme si Olaf munuño ne cagatu baaxut waaye lii fuel caga o cagatu gi neex o saf-safali nga ne loolu dafa dogo si biir dëkk bi. So what are you condemning?
Let me just say that we want to get to the solutions. Ade says the solutions are numerous because we're not talking about addressing only one thing. Education, yes. Sex education, again, sex education, we're very conservative. We don't want to talk about that. And like everybody else has said here, healthy eating. Dr. Sonko is on. Bakari, what are the solutions in terms of trying to educate the population on the issue of this rampant use of viagra, which is also drug abuse in a way, but also what is the solution going forward in terms of intervention from government?
Okay. Okay, thanks for the question. What's important here is to create awareness so that people know why there's a need to use Viagra and why there's no need for Viagra. Very important for people to understand. Now, yes, there are people who might, because a medical review has happened and there's a recommendation based on a medical ground that they have this what you call premature ejaculations or untimely desired releasing of themselves. That can happen. And if you want to control that and you have tried a lot of behavioral modifications or you advise the individual on that and it doesn't work, then you look into that line of prescribing these Viagras under medical observation. Now, we are saying that if that is the case, now the person will be informed why it's going to use this Viagra on temporal use rather than to frequently or continuously using it because of the health implications. All medications in general, prescribed, unprescribed, they all have their complications. So this is important for people to be educated. Now, the concept that we need to run away from, there is this desire for people, I don't know what's moving some of them, but that what has come in research is that the person who is using it have his own intentions in terms of doing that. Now, the question is the partner to satisfy the partner, or you are somebody who is a sex addict. We have to also understand there's a sickness here that some people have. They have an increased desire to have sex, but they don't have the ability to do it. All right? For them to maintain erection is a problem. For them to have the strength to do it is a problem. But they have this inner feeling urge that they need to do it very frequently, or to be there to prove to somebody that they are their manhood is there. Or even we look at some elderly people or grown-ups who happen to go in for younger kids, or ladies or wives, and then they want to satisfy that, or girlfriends and the like. So we have to understand all those things. Then we educate the person that it is all based on their mindset. Now, what do you perceive? What do you see? What do you want to have? You can control that without using the Viagra. Now, the desire is not the frequency. To satisfy your desire should not be based on a frequency or the length of periods that you are able to have in order to have a delayed ejaculation. The satisfaction of the opposite sex need to be discussed. The more you start talking with your partner, the person will be able to realize what is each other's basic needs and what are your hotspots that make the individual to reach his or her climax. So the more the person is satisfied, it doesn't mean you need to be there for a longer period. It doesn't mean you need to have 3 to 4 times. But we have to also understand some people have that desire also from their partners. Let's say example, if the lady have a higher libido, whereby to satisfy this lady, the man need to go for 2 or 3 rounds or 4 rounds or 5 rounds, or need to stay for at least another 30 minutes. That means the man doesn't have that increased libido. The man doesn't have that, let's say, abnormality in order to say that I need to satisfy my lady by going 2 or 3, 4 rounds and like a day. The man have this urge to do once. But that lady who is having that increased libido, or that person, in order for the man to satisfy that person, now there's a tendency for the man to go into some of these things, Viagra, to satisfy. So that's another contributing factor. At times you think it's the man. It's not the man. It's some of the ladies who have that higher desire for a higher frequency or a longer period for the man. That we have to understand that some people also, within a short period, they will start releasing. But some, it took them longer time. So if this man have that impotency, or it has this premature ejaculation, the lady need to be satisfied. So how does the lady get satisfied doesn't mean it's the frequency of sex. You can have a foreplay, you can be having fun, and then there is a way that the lady can also be stimulated. So that the understanding need to be there. Now, we also have to explain to among certain age groups, 30, 40 below, if you don't have any physical ailment, you involve in exercise. You have a peace of mind. You need to have enough rest, and then you have to eat a good diet. You don't have to be that hungry. You need to take something which has energy. And then you don't have to believe that you can maintain your lady by the total number of frequency or high frequency of sex you have with the lady. That's not it. At times, the coddling is also part of it. Try to have a better understanding of the lady's desire. And then the other lady also have an understanding of the man's desire. We need to have education in those areas. Now, the social network also is, who do you move with? What is that group's idea of, to satisfying the other person or the other? So we need to understand all these concepts that are misconceptions, that the more you have the strength and the more you are able to have contact with a lady, the more you have to maintain that. No, that's a wrong misconception. We know that the whole process of having sex is painful. The more erection stays for a longer period, the penis become very, very strenuous and is painful to the man. Now, the more there is continuous friction with the lady inside the vagina, the lubrication that is naturally coming from the release is also being controlled. And that friction is also become so painful to some ladies. And the lady who experience bad sexual experiences might develop another negative sexual disorder called vaginismus. So the vaginal wall, instead of being lubricated to make it easier, it becomes hard. And then the lubricants with the Bartholin glands will not be able to release the enough lubricants to lubricate. As a result, they will also substitute to find other lubricants or gels that they are going to insert in. And that can lead to inflammation also, because there can be a sensitivity reaction in the vaginal walls. And as a result, the lady can have another inflammation leading to a secondary problem, whereby the person will always have painful coition, meaning anytime they are having, she's going to have contact, she's going to have pain. So now you want to have a desire for a longer period, you want to have a high frequency of having the contact, now you have grown into another implication, another problem again. So these are the hard facts. What is your mindset? What's the mindset of your partner? Are you there because the person is seen as a sex organ or a sex machine, or yourself, you are seeing yourself as a sex machine? These are criteria that we need to look into. The desire to satisfy the other person can be worked out with the individual. So the more we communicate among ourselves, the more we exchange ideas, the more we inform others about the negative impacts of some of these Viagras that we are using, then there's a tendency that people become well aware, and then they will change their habits of sexual desires. So we don't even have to have a time schedule. The more you are married, the desire can be satisfied or arranged among the two of you. You decide what time. And then we also have to understand that not only to maintain the person, the passion for you to go for it, the desire for you to go for it, at times you need to stimulate each other. That's important for people to understand. Sex doctrine should not be based on the concept like the lady just have to undress you, come, like just like a chicken, running after each other. And even the chickens, they even suffer. They have to follow each other. That's part of stimulation for them too, the animals. So what about the men and women? These are human beings. You need to have that sense of romance among each other, and that will be very, very psychological relief into the person. So that will even give you a longer time to be able to satisfy the other partner, rather than you come like I don't know, is it high speed or whatever, or at times very funny scenarios that you are going to face. But these are the realities. And secondly, who do you talk to? That's very important. Some people have this tendency, the more they have contact or sex, they need to talk to somebody to say, wow, this guy is like this and the like. And sometimes people don't even look at the frequency. They look at the size. Is the penis very small or very big? Oh, because the vagina is very loose, need to be tightened and the like. So what are the contributing factors that is making this person not to have the desire he or she wants, not to reach the climax that he or she wants? So look at those variables and try to control those things and address them. Then you'll be able to address each other's need. So it's not an individual-based need. You would have a desire which the other person might not want that. You will have something to do that will make you more reach your climax easily, like touching the person, or fondling, or even gradually undressing yourself. There are all these things need to be looked into. So let's look at and talk to each other and understand that yes, we are different in the ways we see things. We are different in the desires, but exactly also you have people who have a dysfunction. They have the inability to maintain erection for a desired period. We cannot say this is the exact degree of desire of erection to be maintained, but we have to be assured individuals differ and individuals have a desire to say my erection need to be maintained for this period. If some people have that fear factor, that will happen. That will lead to the anxieties that are provoking this inability to maintain erection, this inability for you to have what we call your orgasm in the right time. Yes, we need to understand they are not related to only anxiety, but there is a disorder different from a dysfunction, a sexual disorder whereby there will be delayed orgasm. Some people will have that. There is a delayed orgasm. It takes them hours or times before they are able to reach their orgasm. People are different, but some there is premature orgasm. So we need to understand that. So if that is your scenario, what is wrong for you to communicate with your partner rather than going and buying these Viagras without medical prescriptions and then you kill yourself? It's better you live longer with a condition and then you don't suffer that much than you die promptly. You lose both sides. You lose your man, or you lose your lady, or you lose your life. I don't know which one is more beneficial now. At least I think we can say you have a delayed ejaculation rather than you died because of that.
Hey, Mama Lingar, before you go, sorry,
Mama, I want to ask the doctor a question.
At home. Our homes are key. In the Gambian culture, most of the time talking about sex is a taboo or is a problem. We are not creating that environment whereby people can openly look at it and talk about it more respectfully.
Yes, definitely.
Either it is even example, a video explaining or a TV, when there's a tendency that TV or video will be stopped. And novel things are not sanctioned in the Gambia. But how do we
Nancy, I think he's making a very valid point there about the lack of sex.
Yes, I agree with you.
I don't know whether you're getting me, because it seems there's interruption in the network coming from some sides. But what I'm saying is, it's important we start with the home. The home environment is very, very good in education. If you want to effect change, start at home at a very tender age, then the people become more responsible. They understand why this is happening. And then people should also believe in the shortcomings. That it's not every day you need to be very strong. It's not every day you need even to do it. It's not every day you will be having the same strength like before. So you cannot, as a human being, persistently or consistently be 100%. That's human nature. Even your sleep pattern, the more you sleep, there are times you sleep only 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. But at times, you don't blame yourself. You say, let me take drugs because today I cannot sleep better. But you accept it. Then the following day or 2 days, you are able to do better. So even in sex, there's a tendency, the more you are able to exercise yourself, the more you have to break, the more you even have extra energy to perform otherwise. So that's important, rather than to look into these substitutes of chemicals that are not lasting, but they might lead to sort of other complications. Cardiovascular disorders, heart failures, or lungs, conditions that they are going to have. In fact, even maybe kidney failures, you never know. At times, complications become so terrible that you don't know what is happening. So I will allow other persons or people to talk about it. If you go into other substances.
Yeah, I have a question, Doctor. Sorry, yes. I wasn't on the platform when you came in. I think what I really want you to emphasize as far as
okay, you can go ahead with the question.
Okay. They mentioned crystal. I am of the belief, and this is based on, I am of the belief that inserting anything into the vagina would cause some sort of infection. And so I have a rule, unless it's like a medical prescription, there's nothing going in there.
Which one? What is that medicine?
They talk about crystal. Women put a lot of things down there. And my question is, and I think my biggest question is, unless these women are made out of, I don't know, something else. For me, even if I change my my body wash, it affects my pH balance, which is why I don't mess myself down there. So to see women using all these extra things like crystal, sapphire, whatever, extra stuff that they're making out there to insert inside themselves, what are the medical implications of that?
I will say, on the natural are you there? Can you hear me? Naturally, or the ideal, the most preferred, you are not to put in anything. Nothing. Do not put anything in. That's the natural discourse, the natural way. Even soaps, detergents, cleansing agents, do not put anything in. And no medical officer will advise you to rinse or wash our.
I think we're losing him.
Yeah, we're talking about something so important. Gambia. Let's fix this.
Definitely. I really wanted him to touch base on how women tend to use even these deodorants for the vagina. And again, I know different people can handle different things. Personally, I don't put absolutely nothing down there because I get literally, even if I change my body wash, my pH is off. So I don't mess with it. And I know gynecologists have continuously emphasized this. The vagina is a natural lubricant. The vagina does not need any kind of perfume. It cleans itself. You wash it, but you don't need to put any kind of deodorant, whatever, not because of the chemicals in it will mess with you. You are prone to yeast infection. Sorry?
Some people are just naturally dry.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah,
am I on air?
Yes.
Good.
You are.
What I'm saying, naturally, see,
Anyways,
the medium there,
Sonko,
the medium doesn't need any additive. It doesn't need any additive. The medium there, it has its own antibacterials, it has its own lubricant. It's just like a river. Nothing dirty can stay inside the river. It will take it out. So the vaginal lining, for it to be soft, it is formed in a fold, different folds, which we call a rugae. But there's what you call bottling glands. These bottling glands are there to secrete lubricants. So you don't need any lubrication. Yes, otherwise, if the person have a complication, unless the person have a complication whereby the bottling glands are not lubricating, that is not happening, then you have a dry mucosal lining. That is different from a natural occurring thing, because that's an abnormality. But you believe some people using Dettol, they're using sweets, they're using sugar or any form of candies putting inside, they are leading to causing a lot of problem. There's what you call reaction is going to happen. There's a sensitivity reaction whereby those the natural lubrication will be changed, and even there will be smell coming and infection all will be coming in. So we are saying that is not the first line. The first line is use only plain water. Plain water. Very simple. To clean yourself, you don't need soap, you don't need detergent, you need zero ingredient to add there. Please, please, please. You know what we call flat water? That means the water is not even having ice block inside. Water flat. Use mere water and you are clean. All right? Naturally, it is going to clean itself. Naturally, it's going to clean itself. Simple. But people, because of, as I said earlier, at times we have to understand even the mental status of the person who is doing it. Or what information do they learn by or from other people which are wrong. All right? So some people, because it's marketing, it's business, they need to market their products and fool you to use things which you should not. Then you develop other complications. So naturally occurring that you will not put anything in. If you look at the mouth, the environment of the mouth is virtually almost 99.9% the same as that of the vagina. Simple. So nothing that goes there is going to make it worse. So if you put it there, it's going to be the same problem. So now this one is saying is for exit only. Now, if you are going in, it should be something based on a concept of if the person is getting married or is having sex and the like. But to put lubricants, please, 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 that's what we call sensitivity reactions. And then that can lead to erosion of the area. It can lead to ulceration, meaning you can even have holes inside, wounds inside, which are all initiated by these substances that they are adding in. There is no prescription on earth that indicate that a normal lady who is not having any problem should be adding or putting anything there. Any gynecologist who told you that stop the person is wrong. You should not accept that. If you have a condition, that condition should warrant what should be used, and you should be checked for sensitivity reaction to that. But if you are normal, you have no problem. For the desire to satisfy somebody, please be yourself. That's the best thing. Be yourself.
Doctor, just before I go,
I want to start because we've gone over 2 hours and 18 minutes. Zanu, if you have a question, I want you to ask it, and then we move to mental health.
Yes.
As well, because I want Bakari to also talk about that.
One time we were talking about drugs and substance abuse. I don't know how far you've gone with that, but I learned the notion that somebody was saying that you can open up your own pharmacy or your other medicines. No, there is a control mechanism in the country for that. And then we have a very interesting pharmacovigilance going on. We have a task force going around. These people are being apprehended. If you do what we call marketing, you go through like this smuggling of drugs in the country, there are rules and regulations in country which are in place, and the person will dance to the tune. No matter what happens, what we are saying that the drugs which are coming in, they need to be satisfied. You need to go through what we call a medical control.
Gambia.
We lost him. I really wanted him. I mean, he touched on an absolutely very good topic, the issue of controlling medications. And I just wanted to bring to his attention that even if you are at the ferry terminal, somebody is there, an old man telling you, you know, I'm not gotta be you know, they are literally walking around with antibiotics and all these prescription drugs. How do they get these prescription drugs, and where do they get it from?
Yeah,
you know, and I don't know.
I can get into that, but I want us to move from the chocolate Viagra issue. I think we've exhausted that, and move to the club
mental
drugs,
health issues,
recreational drugs, mental health. You know, we've seen, you know, people Zano in Gambia, Fimnekani. It's not just, you know, people would actually be surprised when we talk about these drugs. It's not just young boys; it's young women. Some of them are getting even this, are being date raped and all of these things because they are not in control when they take these drugs. Some of these drugs are highly intoxicating, and these young girls are taking them, and it's leading to problems. You know, this is something that I wanted us to talk about. You know, I think Bakari is back. Let's move on and talk about this. You know,
I think maybe you will find another day or time for a detailed discussion on drugs and substance abuse, since you've been online for a while now, and we have this network fluctuating.
Mama Linga, before we lose him again, can I just ask this question before we lose him again?
Yeah, it's just great. If you can always send through my email so that I can use my laptop next time so that we browse, because these mobiles they are not reliable at all here and the network. But I have this. If you have Zooms and others, we can use that with the laptops. That is very, very effective. But your questions can come. Let's be assured. Last word on the drugs, that there is a control mechanism in the place. No matter where you go worldwide, the people, racketeers, will do whatever they will do to beat the system, no matter what you do, Gambia or outside Gambia. That's going. We have an international drug control system in place. Fortunately, I'm also part of the sub-regional task force on drugs and drugs use, which is funded by UNODC, United Nations Drugs Control. And then we have this regional collaboration at the borders and the like. So I'm also the regional data suppository secretary for ECOWAS and WENDO, West African Network on Drugs Use and Abuse. So we are saying that we have structures in place. No matter what you do, there will be some people who try to beat the system. That will happen. But there is always a control mechanism in place. We are advising people who are going to be involved in drug medicine sales or drug sales. Now register your products and be in the system. If you don't have licensed practitioners, you'll be arrested one day, no matter how it goes. And for Gambia, it's very small. Sell it to 2-3 people, next minute you are exposed. That's the problem in this country. Gambia is very, very small. You can hide.
What about this medical? I mean, this Viagra though. How is it being controlled?
Viagra. I can send you a link whereby they just send in a control to ban all Viagra which are not registered in this country, and they will go around and confiscate it from anyone, and they will arrest them. This has been going for the last 3 to 4 months. So as I'm telling you, what people do. Yes.
Doctor, is it possible to ask you a question? So
go ahead.
Ask. Yeah, you're welcome. For me, I'm available.
Of course.
If you have enough time, I have enough time.
Thank you very much, sir, for your service to our country, by the way. And
you're welcome.
What you're doing, what you've just shared with us is very informative. And I'm sure a whole lot of our listeners are learning a lot. But just out of curiosity, we were discussing this earlier on, but I want to hear what is the use of Viagra?
Okay, the use of Viagra in any form is a sex stimulant. The condition need to be established that the person cannot maintain erection to a desired period. You see, the desire become another range. What is a desire?
So is
30 minutes, 15 minutes for the person.
Pardon? Are we talking about the duration of how long the sex lasts?
Duration is important, because to maintain erection is what is going to lead to the duration. Some people have what you call inability to maintain. Inability to maintain erection, and there are others which also have what you call premature ejaculation. So the erection is one thing, and to be able to release late delay in release also is affecting some people. So we need to justify which one of these does the client have, and which of the Viagras, which has certain things in terms of maintaining erection, helping the individual to have at least a slight delay in releasing. So which one are we talking about in terms of the client? But people haphazardly, because it is Viagra, it's a sex stimulant, they just go in without any medical check. What we call prescription medications. Gambia also use the same thing. We have what is called over-the-counter drugs.
Just so we manage time, you've mentioned here that there are regulations put in place, and Viagras that are not registered would be confiscated. In register, you mean people who go through lobbying the administration to get their product get into the country, or what registration mechanism?
No, it's like if people are coming into the country. Let's say example. Let me give you scenarios whereby you understand 4 ways where Viagras can come in. Right. Now, if I'm coming to the country, I'm a civil servant, or I have what you call service pass, or a very responsible personnel. We believe in ethics, that you should be responsible enough not to use your office status to traffic anything into the country. We should understand that. One, there's a tendency some people who are doing in these malpractices might be using that criteria to make sure that since their goods might not be checked because of certain diplomatic measures and they can go into the country. This might be Gambian citizens. Now you have others who are not Gambian citizens, but they're business partners or businessmen. Now what you register on your product, now if you look at the products, you'll find that the one which is registered and the one which is not registered might all come in the same package. So how does it pass through that system? You see, so those people, the control measures is who are there to control. And we found that some of these people at that control measures who are not within the medical control task force, who might not be there, don't have no clue about some of these medications. The knowledge they have when they are branded is changed. So the branding also changed, you know, the medication to this person. If you put Viagra and the person doesn't put Viagra, it's just put lion heart. You know, you see a lion heart on a medication leaflet, and the person is just holding it in his hand. And you happen to know him. Like you are here now talking with me, and we happen to be friends. We know each other for past 20 years. Now I'm at the checkpoint doing this inspection. The more I come here, we will be chatting. And in fact, you might be the very one helping me to pass through without giving the normal checkup for me. You know how people are passing at the airport. That's happening. Then other people register a brand, but when they bring in other brands which are not also registered. But the packaging might change. All right, that is happening. And there's also a fraud system whereby people can pass via the neighboring borders, using the borders and enter. We have what we call porous borders. That is also happening. Either through the seaport or land, these borders are porous. People can enter into the country. And then there's this money value added. The more you have money, the more you're going to have influence on a lot of people. Even the clearing agents who are to control it might be so corrupted that they make sure this enters. So there are a lot of issues that are involved in terms of it. Now, if you come to the intelligence of the traffickers, they have various means of even bringing the medicine that at times you have no idea about. Are they going to put them in tires, car tires? Are they going to open engines which are dead as second-hand engines, and some of those engine boxes, they open them and put these drugs inside? So it depends on who is marketing it. Or you bring in flour. Inside the flour, there are certain drugs inside the flour. So when you go, you empty the flours that you are bringing into the country, it's there. Or you importing rice, a ton of rice, but there might be only 2 or 3 bags of some of these drugs coming in. So imagine, all these are possibilities, second-hand cars and the like. So you see, it's like a network of group of intelligent people with intelligent ways of bringing the drugs into the country, because Gambia is not manufacturing. It's important. It's like when you say timber business, we don't have a forest to sell timber, but we are the highest exporter of timber. How does timber come to Gambia? You see, this is the issue.
Doctor's getting political.
But I want us to also just briefly, Bakari, touch on the issue of drug use or drug abuse amongst the young. This is an area I know that you worked a lot on, you have a lot of expertise on. I'm sure maybe we might need to continue to show another day and talk about this in more detail. But just briefly,
exactly, no problem.
Yes, what are some of the statistics that we have in Gambia, and what is what are you guys doing in terms of curbing this menace? Because we know for sure that we have a problem with drugs, especially these recreational drugs like ecstasy and so on that are used not just by boys but also girls as well in clubs, etc.
Exactly. Thank you very much. When you come to drug use, either with the youth or not the youth, what we'll say that the influence comes from all facets of the society. Now, what's happening in the Gambia now is go to primary schools, secondary schools, these institutions, you'll find out that a lot of youths, most of them are using drugs and the like. We have just recently conducted use of cannabis in senior secondary schools in the country. And it's very surprising to know that there is no senior secondary school that we went to, and then there's no data available that somebody is not using cannabis or other substances. Very interesting. And then we are saying, what are the factors making them to use? This is what I elaborated earlier, because if you want to address the issue, you look at what led to it. Either it's a behavior, negative behavior, or the person even have that tendency to go against a system, or the role modeling. So no matter what happened, or the person is misinformed that the use of the specified substance will make them more high, and as a result, they'll be more intelligent. What's the belief of the person using it? Or the person is using it as an experimentation and then get hooked up with it. Or the person is role modeling and then happen to use it. And then the person, the role model, you have a figure. Pardon?
Is it true? Is there a correlation between weed and intelligence, weed and enhancing your, I guess, knowledge? Is there? I'm asking.
Yeah, you mean whether if you take weed, it can enhance you or make you more intelligent, or what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. You see, let's have two sides of that also. You have what you call psychological driving concept, meaning you believe that if you take a substance, either weed or any other thing, that is what is going to make you more active or involved or have the desire that you want to do. So your mind is made about that desired substance, that is the one which is going to influence, even if it doesn't have that property, but because your mind is made about that is there, premeditated, and you conceive and you believe in it. Now, if you go to the biochemistry also, the neurochemistry of cannabis sativa, it is a stimulant also, though they will call it soft drugs. To me, I don't even call it soft drug. To me, I call it a drug. Simple and straightforward. Don't tell me it's a soft drug, it become a gateway for another person. No. What's important is how does it make the person feel? There are people, when they take it, because our neurochemistry differ, the stimulation effect can be in some people, and it can make them focus or concentrate on certain things. So if this person have premeditated that I am going to use it to read, and he have programmed his mind to that, now when he take cannabis, he become more focused to read because he believes that is what is stimulating it. Now, if he want to listen to music and take that, when I take cannabis make me to listen to music more, that euphoria will be associated with that. There's a behavioral science studies which indicate that if a cannabis smoker or user happen to plan something and premeditate that I will do this after smoking, do not be surprised, the person is going to do it. Either attempt, but is going to do it, because it becomes positive reinforcement for the person in human behavioral psychology. A positive reinforcement, something that you are doing and is giving you the outcome that you desire. So it might not only be related, because the neuronal stimulation effect is going to have in the brain cells to mimic the action of certain neurotransmitters like dopamine, mimic the action of serotonin, mimic the action of norepinephrine or adrenaline. But there is a tendency, even you may believing in it, you have that desire and you do it. So, but it can also mimic the action of this neurotransmitter. That's why they become sympathomimetic drugs, which are stimulating to some people. But some people, when they take it, instead of being stimulated, they have a paradoxical effect. They become withdrawn, they become aggressive, they lose their cognitive function. And some people, it makes them feel that they are seeing things. All right, like that other people are not seeing them. We said hallucination. Oh, they are seeing devils, so they are seeing jinns. That can happen to some people. But there are some category of people who use cannabis also, and you will see no effect that is going to be detrimental or it will be negatively influencing their behavior. They can function like they have not taken anything. And the most interesting thing, if you look at the neuronal impact of cannabis and then of the linkage, the synapses, cannabis have only the perfect cannabis, the tetrahydrocannabinol. Inside the brain, there's a section there whereby cannabis can fit there 100%, and that happens only in humans. It fits there. Cannabinoid receptor sites in the human brains. Compare, why did God did that? So you see, at times we start wondering what is happening in terms of our neuroanatomy. So there is negative impact. There is negative. So,
So when you look at, you're talking about cannabis, but we have a lot of people will say that cannabis is more natural than even the other drugs like ecstasy, meth, methamphetamine or whatever you call it. That is now available in the Gambia. Ecstasy, meth, and all of these other drugs that are now,
stimulant. Ecstasy is a stimulant. LSD is a stimulant. Cocaine, heroin, they are all stimulants. The ecstasy, it has been there more than hundreds of years. It's just Gambia now. People are just going into it. It has been there. All right. Some countries, they will call it lovers' drugs. All right. But this is there. These are drugs which have been refined. They are not going through their own natural way like cannabis, whereby there the ingredient you are looking at is what called tetrahydrocannabinol, THC. All right. But for ecstasy and other stimulants, they have a lot of additives into them. And those additives have neuro effects and negative neuronal functionings that they do to people. They change your brain chemistry. They change the way you think, your psychic, the way you reason, and things like that. And then it have this euphoric effect, meaning the heightened feeling that you are above the wall. Okay, these stimulants are doing that. So we have to understand that these things are readily available. And the young man, when they hear about something, they are human beings which are made in such a way that they need to experiment anything they come across or heard about it. And if the notion is somebody misinformed a colleague or a peer that the way I am functioning, the way I am, if you want to be like that, use this substance. If that person have a desire that the feeling of this person is what I want, in behavioral science, human beings can be whatever they want to do to be in terms of behavioral science. And if the means of the helping them to be like that, and that's the substance, the person is going to do that. But what's important is at times we criminalize things when they should not be criminalized. Let's understand that. If you are in possession of drugs or chemicals that are contraband or illegal drugs, now we are saying the possession is the criminal act. But in terms of behavioral science, for us, we are saying the person have a behavioral disorder, and that behavioral disorder is the use of substance. Even if he knows that that substance use or she knows that substance of use is detrimental to their health, still they will use it. That's a behavioral disorder.
So Dr.
Okay? So that's what
I just want to ask you, what therefore is that, because this is in total variance with government policy. So government, for example, will arrest Zanu with one joint and go and put him in prison. Is that being helpful? Is that being helpful also, long term?
I have a lot to say on
I'm
this,
using you as an example.
Please do. It's the reality too. It's a fact. So don't worry about
it. Government policy give you too.
From your point of view, and what are you going to do? Because these are the variances that we see, and we keep
government policy,
young men, locking them up at mile two.
No, government policy give you more than that perspective. That is the criminalization aspect. Then the person can be apprehended in possession of control or contraband drugs or substances. That is called the criminalization section. There is another government approach which the Ministry of Health is doing, because civic societies are doing, or organizations, And then the Drug Law Control Agency. You have what you call Drug Law Enforcement Agency, DLE. It's not only there to apprehend. They have a control and demand, control supply demand unit, which is responsible for seizures of drugs and apprehending people and then taking them to court, and then they are processed and their drugs are completed and destroyed. But they also have another unit which is also increasing awareness. As early as the primary school, they use the school approach to sensitize people, increase the awareness of people about the disadvantages and dangers associated with the use of drugs. That group is there. The scientific group also is there within the drug control. So the Ministry of Health, Health Promotion Department, and our mental health program are also engaged in what we call healthy schools education, community sensitization, civic education for people to understand the impact and the negative impacts of drugs and substance use. So you have the policy not limiting you to only arrest and taking them to the prisons. And now when they are in the prison, that's where the rehabilitation also starts. Although it is on a small scale, because we don't have, as we are speaking now, on the plan, yes, we have it in the National Mental Health Strategic Plan to have a rehab center, at least a minimum of 2 in the country to be strategically built. And presently, as we are speaking, you have a tripartite group. That is the MOBE organization in the Gambia, the Drug Law Enforcement Committee unit, and that of the Ministry of Health, the Mental Health Program, which are tasked, to come with the logistics in place so that we have a national drug and substance use rehab facility in the country, which we don't have yet. And we are also following the second protocol of the vendor, that's West African, whereby a treatment center need to be available for substance users. If they are caught and for a period of time, let's say there's a high frequency of this individual for years is using the substance. Now that person cannot be taken to our psychiatric facility in Tanka. That means the person who has a mental and behavioral disorder with the use of substance can be there for treatment. But this one, you have an addiction problem. You have a what you call a problem in order to quit or want to stop taking it, have no other rehab facility. So this one is going to be psychosocial rehabilitation center for drugs and substance users, so that they can be able to, they can be given medication, to control, help them with their drug craving. Or the substance of use will now be weaned. That means it's going to be systematically given to the person on a controlled measure till we have a desire that the person is no more using the one which he was been using. So gradually this is happening. In West Africa, presently we are speaking, we have a pilot in Ivory Coast and in Senegal. So Gambia is the next country to be supported by vendor to have such a program. That means also our parliamentarians need to accept
important.
that. Yeah, they need to accept that.
And I
Our
think
parliamentarians.
a lot of people are saying, we have to bring you back to really just go into just the youth issue and the drug issue. We have to bring you back for that. But the drug problem ne bu fekkee ne nit ki jàpp nañ ko yóbbu ko ndax loolu lañ ko laaj ndax loolu dafa dimbale ki nga xam ne kooku lañ yóbbu te xëj na moom dafa am problème boo xam ne dañ ko war a dimbale pour mu faju su fekkee ne moom li moo def si drogue bi problème la boo xam ne dafa war a faju nekkul problème boo xam ne dañ ko war a dem tëj ko ñun Afrika liñ si taama rek mooy kuñ jàppa ak drogue rek ñu enu dem tëj la duñ seet naka lañ lay dimbale pour nga faju nga wér parce que gisuñu ko as feebar te drug addiction feebar la moom la ñoo waxtaanee nii kii di Bakary Sonko moom mu nekk koo xam ne ku xelam màcc la si loolu mooy liggéeyam si not just si Gambia waaye si Africa ñuy waxtaana moom si just so ñi nga xam ne ñu ñoo dégloo itamit Sénégal ñu understand fi ñuy waxee kon Bakary suñuy tëj fi mu nekk nii parce que foog ñu tëj we cannot be here 3 hours fi mu nekk moom dama bañ boobu we want to close fi mu nekk nii but we will come back again another time and bring you on again.
No problem.
You talked about wax nga fii ne war nañoo indi li nga xam ne mooy rehab mooy fi ñuy yóbbu nit ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi jël drogue bi te ñoom si seen boppa fi mu nekk mënuñoo bàyyil seen boppa loolu problème la ñu fi ñuy yóbbu itamit ñi nga xam ne jàpp nañ leen ak xëy na benn ñaari joint yi nga xam ne moom la ñuy amee nii naka lañ leen a jàngalee ba nga xam ne dinañ xam lii long term lan la muy def si seen brain cells yi ak yooyu. Yes. So loolu lañ bëgg a pour in conclusion rek nga wax ñu what are the plans fi mu nekk nii pour ñu ensure in terms of education and in terms of rehabilitation.
Exactly. Now, as we are speaking now, the active programs going on countrywide at primary school, at communities, you have SAF, Supportive Active Foundation. They are doing dramas on drugs use and the like among the youths. And then you have National Drug the Youth Council also involved in the sensitization and the drug law enforcement. Because I'm emphasizing drug law enforcement so that people understand they are not only there to apprehend. There is a unit for that. That is called supply and demand reduction. They have that. But they also have a PRO and another group responsible for sensitization to increase awareness. That's the primary prevention. So the secondary prevention also is the management of people who have the problem with drugs use. If they have a psychiatric condition because of the substance of use, now they will be admitted in Tanka for treatment of the psychiatric condition, and during that period, now they don't even also have access to the substances used, and they will undergo. The person knows what is happening, what we call reality orientation. That can happen at the places where they are detained. For those who are criminally charged, like the prisons, we have also what we call a prison intervention strategy to provide psychosocial support to those people to understand drug use or selling. The marketing of it is not the only lucrative job. You can be a skilled personnel and then learn skills and then motivate yourself and even go back to school, acquire good grades and change your behavior so that you don't have problem with the law. But we have to put it at the back of our mind. What is the person, who is the person we are dealing with? Does this person have a mental status that desire that the person will be antisocial against the regulations no matter what? Or does this person have a potential to addiction whereby he use small amount, he have developed addiction problem? Or does the person use it because the family is having a negative problem in the compound and stressful, as a result he become rebellious to the whole family nature? That's happening. Or is the drug even easily available to these people? So these are the ways we look at to address it. Now within the mental health policy, we have what you call healthy schools, mental health schools. We are going to address all these things in the mental health approach in the schools. Involve the schools.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Bakari, you've mentioned, it looks like the government is overstretching its resources and creating all of these offices and programs, which I'm sure it's really helpful to our communities. Just the question that I have is that, is the government putting any fund to research about these cannabis use, like the benefits of it? Because
benefits of
it. CBD, there's the THC. Is there a body that is researching to see how best government can make better use of this and how best the community too? Because it's not stopping. The smoking of weed.
There's no research to my knowledge. There is no research to my knowledge that the government is doing to look at the medical effect or efficacy of cannabis use. Not to my knowledge. What I know, last time that we conducted, including cannabis and other substance of use, who are using it, why they are using it, what is the negative impacts associated with cannabis use and other substances among senior secondary schools. I become the principal investigator for that. I can share the results with you people also. If you have an email or WhatsApp, I can send it to Ma'am Langer, your WhatsApp, and you can share with them. We have that report available.
But now, I don't think government have money to do studies on those things, because places like Tanka, which I have visited several times, and I know the Metro personally because we've donated them a lot, they are struggling financially. And one of the things that she mentioned to us was that most of their patients are actually drug addicts who have some sort of a mental reaction from smoking weed. And I guess she referred them as repeated patients, because they'll come in, they'll treat them for a week or two, release them out. Of course, they are addicts, and within a month or two, they are back.
Okay. Let us have the record straight. What you have in Tanka, the diagnostic level they are using there is not what we have recommended. Now we have what they call DIP. That means drug-induced psychosis. So we are saying if the person have psychosis because it was due to drugs, that's what you are treating there. Now, what about the person who have anxiety disorder because of use of drugs? So that means that's not captured. Right. Never admitted in Tanka. There is no record of any patient who is admitted in Tanka because he have an addiction problem. The place is not for that. There is no drug treatment
doctor,
center
in Gambia. I'm gonna come in there. Gambia does not have any other place to take these these addicts. Where do they take them when they literally have an outbreak? Like I said, I'm not just pulling this out of my head. Her name literally escaped me, and I think she lost her husband sometime last year. And I think you know the doctor. Her husband was a doctor. And Tanka is a place that I have visited several times, supported many times. And these are some of the
I don't think he can hear you.
Hello.
Bakari.
Hello.
Bakari. She's gone.
Yes.
Yes. What Nancy is saying is that because the country
I can
does
hear you
not
now.
have an addiction
Okay,
center.
Bakari, what I'm saying is Gambia does not have any other place besides Tanka to put these addicts. Is gone. Mama, I wish he can come back. But what I was saying is I visited Tanka.
I understand what you're saying, because when they have these
and the metro herself who runs this,
they take them to Tanka.
Exactly, because Gambia doesn't have any other place to put these people. And I think we also have to talk about the social impact of why so many of our young people are losing it. I understand that there is a positive side to weed. You know, I mean, America have legalized weed in most of their states, but
hello.
Yeah,
okay,
yes.
I can get
not
you
that
now.
I agree, and I know it will be controversial. I do not agree with the legalization of weed in Gambia. We don't have the money or the resources to spend on doing studies on why our young are involved and taking this much weed, because our hospitals are struggling. Gambia does not have that money. So we can sit here all day and talk about the modernization of smoking weed, especially recreational weed. I will not encourage, nor would for me, people who smoke weed as a recreational drug, you are a grown adult, do what you want to do. That's your prerogative. What I will not do is sit on a platform and encourage the smoking of weed. I have seen the impact that it has on our young people. I have seen the social impact of it. I think it's time for us to understand that Gambia is very different from the US, where they have the resources, they have the money to run these studies. And most of these studies are actually sponsored by individuals, very wealthy individuals, whose kids they've lost to drugs and alcohol. It's not really sponsored by the government. And I understand in Gambia, all these things people expect the government to sponsor. So no, I do not agree with taking our resources to research why these young people are involved in smoking weed. We need to change our culture. You know, this whole idea of this is what is cool. We have to smoke weed. You have to drink. And I'm going to put it out there. Most people are shocked. Oh, you live in America for 20 years and you don't drink. No, I've never had alcohol. I've never smoked weed. That doesn't mean that I'm not cool. That doesn't mean that I don't know how to have fun. And I've never smoked anything. So this whole culture of thinking it is a cool attitude. Yes, mama, I'm going to go hardcore. I am going to go hardcore. And this is truly exactly how I feel. We cannot sit here as grown adults, as the mother of a 5-year-old. I'm a responsible woman, and sit here and encourage kids that, oh, it's okay to smoke weed just because it's legalized. Let's check the state of Colorado. The nice thing about America is every time they pass a law, there are statistics to back up these laws that they have passed. They have seen the implication that legalizing weed, apart from the monetary part of it, they have seen the implication that it has in the state of Colorado in young American high school kids. They have seen the psychological impact that it have on them. I am not a psychologist, but I'm saying from a social setting standpoint, Gambia cannot afford to raise kids who are always high, always drunk, thinking that this is cool and it's okay. It's not.
No, okay. I don't think they are telling you that they will encourage for the use of drugs or cannabis as a whatever. I don't think that's the concept. The concept here should be seen in two ways.
I don't have a problem with
just wait. In America, in America, in Europe, in Africa, there's what you call a coordinated package in terms of substance approach to substance use. Either it is a research looking into factors leading to it, a research looking into the impact it has, the research looking into the medical model in terms of what medical benefit can we gain from a specific substance, and then research into the legal consequences. And Gambia also is going into all these 5 domains. Now, Gambia government, as a government, doesn't have fiscal cash for some of these or all of them. But Gambia government is partnership with an international institutions which are given that mandate to replicate or make sure such investigations are also happening in the Gambia. And this is where, me personally, I represent Gambia on WENDO. That is the West African Network on Drug Use and Abuse, supported by the United Nations Drug Control Committee. That subsection of the International Forum have funds, which is mandatory to look into why are people using drugs and substances, to look into what are the best practices in order to cope the situation, to look into what are the medical importance of some of these substances.
Pressure and insecurity, even people encouraging that it is cool to do it.
No, the schools, what we are doing is, why are students who are coming to school are involved in drug use? You see, it's important if you want to approach it, you go to the background, what has triggered it. And the more you are able to address that, then you will understand the impact. It is some scientific evidence. But if we want to just randomly say, oh, so it's cool for you, somebody is doing what you call recreational drug use. For us as clinical practitioners, we are not looking at the recreation aspect. We're looking at the impact it's going to have on them medically and psychologically, mentally. That's what we are looking at. So we will advocate for those things to be controlled and to be prevented. So there will be the business partners which are lobbyists even in America. They will make sure that the cannabis is legalized and they are interested in the business. I live in the States, for the past 15 years or so. So I'm lancing there, also practicing there. I decided to come back to Gambia. So I know what is happening in here. I have an idea what is happening in America. Just what is important here is we as Gambians, why are we going into it? Cannabis use or other substance of use, especially cannabis, have been in the Gambia in time immemorial. There are families or tribes which are using cannabis in order for recreational purposes. They are using it if they want to farm. They are using it in their ceremonies. These are facts. Those who have religious belief that if they get inspired by using cannabis and they will read the Quran or they become Sufis, they will use it. At times, if you don't go deep into this, you don't know why some people are using some of these things. But what we are after is how best can we have a healthy drug-free environment or a controlled drug use environment. The national indicator for drug use in the country is saying that please, please, please do not use, number 1. 2, if you are using it, you are now having a behavioral disorder. This is the responsibility of the government of the day to provide a facility to treat that person. It's the responsibility of the government to make sure that there's a control measures which are curbing the problem of drug menace in this country. Import, export, or usage. So that is where government comes in. So funds, government have what you call local government funds, which are limited and they cannot be plowed or are not being effectively judiciously plowed into it. but we are taxpayers in terms of international organizations like UN, and the funds are there for that. UNODC, they have a headquarters now in the Gambia for drug control. WHO is there. Now we have West African Health Organization, WAHO, which also we are also part of. Then we are also part of the AU Health Committee, and we, the technical experts in that, have developed. I can also share that draft reports to you and our recommendations and the funds which have been generated that we are replicating.
I think what
so
we
as a
will
result,
do is once you share it, then we will have it on the. We will try and
we are at 3 hours.
A story on it and then put it out
exactly.
there. Why didn't you
We can share all these things so you know the networks and you can be part of it. Just wait. One of the interventions by SAP is not government. Government signed MOU with these community-based organizations who are also empowered to provide preventive measures through sensitization. That's not government. These are individuals. These are committees. These are subgroups. These are what they call activists in the country which are involved in it, not government. Government just make the environment comfortable for them. Now you have government institutions which also have that mandate upon them. That's the Drug Law Control Agency, the police, and the Minister of Health, Department of Social Welfare. So this is their responsibility to ensure some of these things also are not getting out of, and even the law, the legal experts, they know that there is legal regulations in place. But that's what we are saying. Nobody, I doubt if they will be encouraging for cannabis to be researched indoors so that it become a recreational drug legalized in the country. Yes, there is an advocacy group in the Gambia which is advocating for the legalization of cannabis in the Gambia. Anything that you come with in this world, even bombs, people are advocating for people to have bombs. Even guns, there's what we call the Rifle Association in America. And we know guns are lethal. They kill people. So what do you call them? Your second amendment. Your second amendment, you're right. That doesn't make it ideal. That doesn't make it good. So
thank you so much, Dr. Thank you so much, Dr.
Let us pray that. Let us pray that we have a conscious group of Gambians who become concerned about our future generation, who become concerned of we talking now, to take the full responsibility and know that drug use is not the solution. Marketing in drugs is lucrative, but the negative impact to our society, to our families. I wish you go around the country and see some of the families who are faced with this problem. Somebody with an addiction problem, you cannot even admit in Tanka. You cannot. The person have an addiction problem. It's not mentally disturbed that he's going to misbehave in such a way that he's having a psychosis. So the law doesn't even allow those people there. So the person who has a psychiatric condition is psychotic and is admitted there, the more he recovers, he will be discharged, but the addiction will continue. So we need to have these rehab facilities for people to understand. That's why we are advocating for our parliamentarians to accept the bills to go. When they accept these bills and they are approved, then we will have a recommended standard rehab facilities in the Gambia. Gambia is no exemption. Gambians have to also understand the Gambians who also are involved in drug trafficking or use are not only Gambians in the Gambia. These are Gambians who went in the diaspora, who went to UK, who involved in cocaine dealings in Germany. You know better. At times when the going get tough, we have to say the fact. That person is there selling drugs. Now he comes in the Gambia deported. There's a high tendency the person might have been even using it. So there's a lot of marketing things there. So all Gambians need to take the responsibility. Let us be conscious of that. Our able-bodied men, the youths, are involved in it. You have programs at the stadiums. You see, you think cannabis is legalized or cocaine and heroin. Freely. You have naming ceremonies. You think there's no law. You have marriage ceremonies in the Gambia. It says like there's no law. They block the roads. And they make sure they smoke freely. Why can't we arrest all of them, even the organizers? Huh?
In the nightclub.
When it's illegal, it's illegal. But now they say, no much going on. Now, we are witnessing something in the international Gambia stadium, and you are smoking. They call it, in fact, the democracy zone. How can you have a democracy zone in the football field who are free to smoke and drink and misbehave? We should pack all of them in that and put them in prison to go and work in the farms so that we have something coming. But if you start doing that, they say they are civil rights. You see, they will come again. They are civil rights. They are freedom of choice. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to look into what is making the person to use it.
Dr. Sonko, I think where people stand, where drugs, recreational drugs, whatever they want to call it, is concerned, it has everything to do where an individual is in their lives. As the mother of a little boy, I will see as the mother of a little boy and a seasoned activist who live in Gambia, I will see to it that these drugs are never legalized in this country, because it has a social impact and a psychological impact on our kids. Just because some grown adults have used it and gotten away with it doesn't mean that our kids should be exposed to it. There's nowhere in this world, no matter how civilized, where kids are legally allowed to smoke or drink. Gambia doesn't have a drinking age. You go out there, kids as young as 10, 11, 12 are drinking, and we make it okay. We think it is cool. We think that, being drinking and smoking all day is what makes somebody cool. And for me, I always say, I don't need to drink. I don't need to smoke anything to have fun.
Yes, but we call that individualistic concept of approach to social discourse. A social discourse have what you call rules and regulations. Gambia have a drinking age. Even cigarette, if there's an age attached to. Above 18 above, they say they are mentally mature to make a decision. It becomes independent choice. Now, but what we are after, the young cream, less than 18. Why? We should have regulations in our home. Why? What is
I agree. I think it has to start with
parenting. Parenting is not like making babies. Parenting is responsibility. You make your child suffer. The child drinks or smokes. You are the one who is going to take care of him and the society. Your neighbors is going to trouble them. So what we are here is to increase that awareness in those areas. The Gambia is moving away from the Gambia we know before. Gambia alone before was what Gambia for all. My child, if he misbehaves, you will take care of my child. Even beat the shit out of my child. But now if you do that, even you are a brother, next minute you are in the police station. So that Gambian concept is going away. You don't want to advise to people.
Over here. Anybody who touches my child, I'm suing.
But Bakari, I think we've had this is the discussion has been very educative. We have to bring you back. Everybody's saying we bring you back, so we have to bring you back, because we haven't even touched on the issue of these drugs. The issue of psychosis, the issue of
thank you.
It's almost
I'm,
like a pandemic
available
amongst the young that there's so much drug use.
Presently, what is coming up is this ecstasy is coming up in the country, rapid, very fast. And these medicines they are using,
ecstasy is what? Is it what
they have both the tablet form, the powder form. When they powder, they cross it. You have the tablet form. They can even dissolve it. The mode of taking it depends on the person. Some will buy these drinks and just put it there. It dissolves. Some will cross it. Some that tablet, they lock it in their tongues. So these are realities that are happening in the country. Let's pray. Let's pray that we have the mindset that Gambians are able to listen to people to effect change. Let us not politicize things. Let us not look at it as a family issue. Let us not look at because the person is well off, or the semester syndrome, or because the person is poor. The problem is every Gambian or non-Gambian should know that we are all human. We have a responsibility. If I'm able to effect change with one person, it's better than keeping quiet. If we have a group of people who are lobbyists for the market to control, we will have them. If we have police who are serious to control, we will have them. But we will have people who will say no to it. We will have those groups also. We will have people who should talk about it. We should also have people not to keep on keeping quiet. In your own backyard, I'm giving you a very good example for drug use in the Gambia or cannabis. 90 or 80% of Gambians, almost even you people on the forum, who smokes, somebody smokes or drinks. Let's be frank. In your backyard or in your neighborhood or in your house or your colleagues or your associates. But do you stop them not to do it in the presence of your young ones? Do you stop them during your naming ceremonies? Your naming ceremonies, what control do you have?
It's a rule I have.
Your naming ceremonies.
No.
Nancy.
Your naming ceremonies, what control do you have? When we are busy, other side, another group is there. The so-called democratic people, they will smoke. If you don't mind, you even contribute by buying it for them or making the environment conducive. Our approach should be multifaceted. Let's all look at it holistically, then look at the negative impacts and fight against it. The so-called medication in cannabis use, I'm going to be very frank with you people. America is going to be seeing that disaster continuously. Europe is going to see that disaster continuously. Wherever they are allowing cannabis to be used as a painkiller, as a prescription drug, the person is going to have side effects. There is no medication without side effects.
Okay.
Now, if cannabis-induced side effects are happening, what is the control measures for that? What is the indicator that this person who doesn't have any medical condition is able to have it? Some states have legalized it. That's the fact. And they are going to market and push the business so that in the Gambia, you also push it so that people are involved in the marketing. But are you looking at the biochemical imbalance it causes to people? People in America who are using cannabis are now having these neck pains, side pains, neuropathic complaints, neurological complaints. And still now we want to see our Gambians also to be involved in that. These are realities.
I think you know, like you said, every drug
we don't have the
cannabis has side effects.
We don't have the schools.
Yeah.
And Gambia, every village, every town, every place you go, every corner, there's a ghetto they are smoking, even in our houses. So we need to wake up. Let's be responsible. Gambian, you start to address about Thai cannabis, they said, are you the one buying it for me? All these cannabis smokers, 90% sitting at the Johnsons, they have no ID card. They will tell you if I go to Babylon, they are sitting there for the next 5 years, no ID card. How can you even move to Senegal or Dakar?
And that's the point that I was going to bring.
When they
Most
smoke,
of them
they
are
become big mouth, and they will say, when I go to Babylon, I will do this. When you go to Babylon, you are going to be a smoker there too. Babylon is not like that. Just go there, you will see. You'll find more smokers dangerous than you. So let us change that notion. Eh? I know Babylon, so I know. Most smokers in Babylon, they don't have house to go. They have to go to the church and mosque, spend night, or spend the night in a outside somebody's veranda. They will sue you to court for that, because that is what we don't want to see. Gambia is too small. We are all interrelated. We are all connected. That's one umbrella cause for all Gambians. We are saying no to substance use. We don't want to care where you come from, what is the money you have, what's your intelligence. We are saying no, and no means no. NO means no. We will not even put red. We will put red and black and put fire on it. No to it. That's the motive. That's me, and that's what I'm advocating.
Definitely. Thank you, Bakari. I think we will wrap up here. We will wrap up here. And you know,
thank you so much for coming to our platform.
Yes.
You're welcome. Anytime, just call.
You know, thank you for
give me a 2 days notice. Anytime you need me, give me a 2 days notice.
After all of these things been said against weed, and we don't have anything to rebuttal or even say anything. I think that's
it's a wrap, Zanu. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. This is what you guys gonna do.
You can go smoke your joint, but it's a wrap.
Bakari just smash all the weed smokers as like
that is it. That is it. Even the speakers. I hope none of you take the. I hope before coming here, you don't take the joints.
Who, me?
Manlinger, do you know that these lip signers, they have some chemicals that are addictive? Then you become used to the taste of it, and you like the scent of it. It makes you feel otherwise. Next time, that's the flavor you will always go for. Did you know that? So you become a drug or substance of use. Yes. They have additive added to it. So it's not only drugs per se in terms of what we inhale, it's what we apply.
I cannot stand the smell of weed.
Yes, the taste is very nice. The scent is very nice to you. It has that aroma that become more neuromimetic to your brain. Then you become addicted to that. So always you look for that brand. And they eat your money and always okay? And the headphone man, Mr. Headphone, headphones are also addictive.
I have to drink my Coca-Cola every day.
But thank you so much,
Okay,
Bakari.
okay.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, sir.
Yeah, and we thank
All right,
everybody,
thank you.
Ibrahima,
Okay.
Awaketa, Omar, Hadi, Nubian Queen, Fatso.
All right. Thanks to all of you. And anytime you need me, as I said, give me 2 or 24 hours notice, please. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Take care, Mr. Sonko, Dr. Sonko.
Well,
Thank
I would
you
need
so
5
much,
minutes at
Bakari.
least.
Thank you. So Nancy, I think we wrap up.
Zanu mune doing tech leaning. Right now, he is full to the brim.
I am.
Zanu, 2 minutes wrapping up, please. Let's wrap up, Zanu. Wrap up 2 minutes, and then we all
2
take
minutes.
2 minutes just to wrap up.
I cannot say much in 2 minutes, but yeah. Well, we appreciate Dr. Babakar Sonko for coming. A whole lot of information.
I think what you should understand. Let me just quickly say this: it's not the people that use marijuana and they are okay, but it's the percentage. No matter how small you might consider it, who use marijuana and have effects, including psychosis, etc. Because marijuana also has side effects. That is the percentage that we're talking about.
Of course.
And that percentage, there's a risk to that makes it not what sometimes, if you analyze it, not what making it available to everybody and people being in a situation where they would have these side effects. But go ahead, let's wrap up quickly.
Of course. I wish I have more time to address this, but I hope one day I would be able to face with Doctor. It sounded more like there's a whole lot of programs that are put in, which is more of government putting in more money and trapping all of these and trapping all of these young people. I mean, like Doctor did mention, almost anything. I think.
Then go ahead.
Yeah.
And 1 minute.
I can't. Well, like Doctor said, almost everything that if abused have some negative effects. And but what I would not allow or agree with is that almost all weed smokers are of negative products of society. These and Bill Clinton smokes. They are not negative. Obama smokes.
Used to smoke. Used to smoke when he was young.
He still
allow him to talk. Allow him to talk, please.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Allow me to talk. There are other people that are responsible in the way they do things. Okay, of course, we can sit here and draw all the negative things, but if we have Doctor, like he mentioned, a government as big as the Gambia that cannot put too much resources into looking into the positive side of things, but all they believe in is to create these bureaus that are more like targeting people. For 50 years, this has been going on. For 50 years, people have been using this and it has never stopped. It has not gone down. Then it means there's something wrong. It means there's some new approach needs to be taken. And if the same old approach is taken over and over again, then we are not going to break through to anything.
Okay.
You know,
thanks.
ñu ñëw pour ñu summarize the whole of the topic luñ doon di waxtaanee fii moo nekkoon affaire yi Viagra bi and the use of it xam nga doctor num ko waxee at the end man we should try to let go of our ego and know ne xam nga jigéen ñi suñ buggee toppa gaay ci seen mën-mën ci lal di toppa suñ naan we are these strong individuals, we just wanna xam nga di dóor no good, no bad. At the end, ñun ñooy mujjee ràcc. ñun ñooy mujjee ràcc. And I see no reason why someone as young as 40 years should need those form of enhancement. It doesn't. It means you need to go do some medical checkup for yourself. And I think Doctor gave a lot of suggestions that should be followed. Anyways, I've been rushed. I wish I have more time, and
No,
like
didn't you next week, Sanu?
like Nancy would do my interrupt doctor all of along, but I wanted also to learn something new, and I think I've learned a lot. And I hope that one day we'll have this discussion again.
No, we'll bring doctor again. We'll bring Bakari again.
You will hear from the perspective
agree
of
with
a
what she
weed
said.
smoker.
When you finish, you can give your rebuttals.
Yeah. Yes. I just wish that we had time to also me to represent the weed smokers too, because there is a lot that needs to be said that was left out. You guys branded us as the worst products of society, and I think
no, not all.
Compliment.
No. You said rounded us, like you mean the substance users?
No, so I don't believe in substance users. I always smoke weed. And
are you there?
I am here. I can hear you clearly.
Can you repeat what you just said? I don't think he
Okay,
heard
good.
you.
You said you as a group, those who are using substances are seen as bad. That's what that's your point?
Well,
no. He's saying that not the substances, but weed, just weed.
Yes,
weed. Okay, weed users. Weed users. No, you cannot even label them.
You cannot label them, right?
It's an individual. Why the person is. The person might have inferiority complex. It's an adjustment disorder the person have. Believing that when they use weed, they can function. That person is there. No, wait. If you use it, we want to know you, what make you use it. No. Are you role modeling? Or do you think improve your intelligence? Or because you cannot adjust yourself? We want to know that. That is where the point comes. Nobody blames anyone who use a substance or cannabis. We want to know what make that person use it. If you have identity crisis, you want to identify yourself with other people who use it, you will use it. That's an identity crisis. We can help you with that. If you have an adjustment disorder, you cannot cope or function because you don't use it and you believe it can make you perform, then we will help you with that. But if you use it to influence others so that they think you look nice and then you are very smart, then we will help you with that. If you use it because you have headache, you have pain, we have painkillers. We are saying every individual have a way of using it and there's a reason. So for you, we will not be judgmental. That is what we call a paranoid delusion. The cannabis smokers, 99.9% are all paranoid. They'll tell you, because I am smoking, that is why you think this is happening. You think I'm smoking, I am bad. You think my red are red, my eyes are red, I am intoxicated. No. We are saying, you as an individual, honest to yourself, what makes you take cannabis? I think that's fair. Then we will address your issue.
It is a fair question. It is a fair question. And
what make you take it? Tell us that.
I will. And
no, don't say I will. I say it. Don't say will. Will is individual.
Why are you imposing your command on me? I've let you.
You see, that's what you call in behavioral challenge. When people use cannabis, this is what you put to them, and they start talking to say, "Why do you do this?" Instead of answering the question.
Interrupt you, and I can also put all names tag on what you're saying, because I
exactly. And for us, and for me as a therapist, I will accept that. Then I say, still now.
It's just gonna make us interrupt each other and people.
Okay. I think
it's not interrupting. The question is simple. What makes you use it? Example, even if you are not using it, what makes some people use it? What do you think?
I cannot speak for other people. You asked me a question that was directed at me. Why do I use it?
Okay. Can you tell us why you use it?
For me, I use it for relaxation. It relaxes me.
Thank you. So should we blame you? Should we blame you because you want to relax and you see cannabis as the solution? Should we do that? We will not say you are useless. We will not say that. We said you have coping deficits.
Should the government be out there terrorizing young people?
You don't have in therapy. I'll give you therapy.
Listening to him, and it seems like nobody's listening to
listen, he's telling you.
No. I'm going to give you therapy. You don't have.
That's what he's asking.
You don't have music. You don't have music as a choice. You don't have prayers as a choice. You don't have a friend as a choice to relax. You don't have reading as a choice. but you have cannabis use as a choice.
You have it as an option. You have it as an option.
The difference between choice and option is the same. Choice is option. Take it option. I take it. You have cannabis as an option to choose from.
As an option to maintain where you are at that situation. Okay? You've given a whole
now in a therapeutic session. Can I say if you take cannabis, then you feel comfortable, you are relaxed? Yes.
Comfortable with what? With people? Comfortable
no, anything
with
you do, anything. Your intention was if you take it, you want to relax, you'll be comfortable, you want to be who you want to be. Yes or no?
It is like any other, like you said it is like any other form of addiction. People are smoking. People are smoking. It does not make those people bad. They're smoking cigarette. They're smoking other people. It does not give them the complex that you guys are portraying.
Okay, I respect your notion, but but if you look at the context of human and social discourse, just let me give you that if you don't mind, please. When we when somebody said somebody is bad, that person we have no control for that person. You are bad. You understand? But in clinical psychology, we are saying what does the society that you live in and the society that is been saying that you are bad, what do they like in the Gambia example? If we put on dreadlocks, you know dreadlocks. In Gambia, all dreadlocks are seen at worst. 90% criminals.
Good.
It's just a
stereotype. You know that.
Why
the
ideologies you guys are putting in here right now?
Yeah, no, but
I'm giving you an example. I'm giving you a social discourse.
No. My best friend has never smoked or drank anything. So I maybe
thank
I'm
you.
agreeing with
all dreadlocks they smoke, and that is not the case. That's not the case. It's in society.
This is society's perception.
It's society. It's not me or you.
Doctor.
At times, those who smoke, some people will see them as bad people, that they are not good. That is that people's notion. We are not after that. What we are talking about is if you smoke, are you able to function, that you don't have a social problem, that you don't have a medical condition? That's what we are after. If you are able to do as you do, that you give the example of other
how
people.
You diagnose people, and I understand that, doctor. What I was speaking in a form that I'm a weed smoker, and all what's have been said here, I agree with some I do not agree totally.
But Zano,
weed, it's like cigarette, it's like alcohol. If control is put in place, it's just to prevent people to abuse it, but it does not change who the person is. I've been smoking weed for a while, and there's nothing in me that has changed. It has not changed my social function. It has nothing to do with, so I always smoke it. It relaxes me when I need it. I'm not a constant smoker
but you
to the point that I can abuse it. Even paracetamol, if we keep...
But Zano, Zano, that's what
can we address the issue of those who are having problems?
Can you relax naturally without smoking weed? That's what we're asking.
Of course you can.
Thank you.
It's a feeling.
Thank you. Do it.
Right.
Do it.
But what I do not I is a choice. If I want to smoke weed, no one would tell me you should or shouldn't do it. It's a form of a choice. It's just like people who like to drink Coca-Cola right now. People who like drinking Coca-Cola.
No. In social discourse, it's different. Mister, with due respect, in social discourse, is different. The society become determinant. No. Society become determinants of the norms and values and rules and regulations of that given society. If you are contradicting that in that society,
individual, how is that society?
Let me give you an example. There is a society or a group in the Gambia. Alcohol drinking is part of their ritual practices. They accept it. But what other communities, they don't. So if you want to put that generalize, it will never work. We are saying,
well, you guys been generalizing
as
all along here.
People, if the person who is not supposed to use it or they use it, they have a problem, then we address that. Yeah, that's what we are saying. We have no problem with smoking or not smoking. Our problem is if our youths are involved in it and it's detrimental to their health, are you going to tell them to smoke or not? That's my question to you. Because you smoke. Are you going to tell them to smoke or not?
No. I'm not going to tell anybody do this or do that. That for me, I've learned from an early age that everybody have a responsibility for what they do for their lives. What I'm saying here, doctor,
and do you know that children, when they see adult role models doing something, they want to do it too?
That's
children model what
adult
they
role
see.
model. They are
Children
kids
who
there
are
who
raised
trust
in
you.
household where they smoke, they grow up smoking.
Right. That's
Yes.
true. I'm not gonna.
So they trust you. They believe in you. They want to be like you. They see you smoking. What are you telling those people? You are telling them smoke.
No, you're not telling them smoke.
No, yes, you are. No, you are. They count on you. They look at your behavior. They mimic you. They want to be like you. So the performance is, if he smokes, we smoke. We be like him. That's role model.
And then what we're saying is, you can smoke, Zanu, and nothing will happen to you, but somebody else can smoke and they have an adverse reaction to it and they get psychosis.
That's what we call individual idiosyncrasy, individual difference. But when we say society put in rules and regulations with regard to you as an individual. It's bigger than you. Society have norms and values. When traffic light said red, you don't cross the red light, do you?
No.
But traffic light doesn't care whether you are driving or not. It will come red, even there's no car, and you will obey that traffic. That is society. They don't care. You are going high speed, low speed is red, means stop, or the police give you paper and you will stop.
That's true.
Yes, you will stop. The red light said stop.
Your 2 minutes.
What do you do? You stop. That's called society. Right. It doesn't mean.
I think
we wrap. Well, we go back to the point of Viagra, and just to summarize what Doctor was saying, it's unfortunate that we cannot come to a conclusion when it comes to the weed smoking part. I would say it in the platform that I think any form of abuse, be it weed, be it any substance, is wrong. It's not good for society. It delays societal development, and I'm proud of Doctor and his team and all what they're doing in making sure there are tools that are put in place to direct this form of societal ailment. To summarize, tamid lumdondu about this Viagra and men being in a relationship where they think that they need to prove their masculinity in women. I think we also as men war nañu jéem di check loolu noonu. We don't need any form of enhancement to prove this. There are multiple ways that you can go about satisfying your partner or the woman you are with. Even waxtaan ak moom rek, it comes in a form of communicating, knowing your sa partner hot points. Am na ñeneen nag seen engine du teel a taal, so you need nga dee caabi nga chuku bem taal. All of these is part of stimulate sa partner to a point ne mun naa ñëw to a point of satisfaction. So mun nañu draw all angles and draw all of ñu wax fii wax fele, but at the end of the day moo nekk ne mbir mi si sa xel la nekk. It doesn't necessarily need nga other products pour mu help la si sa néegum sëy. Si sa xel la nekk ak nooy communiquer ak koo nekkal. Naka ngay communiquer ak koo nekkal ak foo xam fan mooy weak points nga koy laal yéen ñaar ngay bég muy bég kër bi gën a ne, right? That was my contribution. Nancy, dinañ am a good show next time. Yow mom dama la dee xiifal, but then dama la dee mooy. Today doctor mo introduction bi.
Ma xiifi jama.
Because there were a whole lot of things yu nga xam ne dafa jëmale ci ñun góor yi, and I disagree in a whole lot of
okay.
And in a lot of ways. But hopefully one day.
That's 2 minutes jeex na de.
Jeex na kañ wa nga dëgg de. Man wax rek la.
Thank you. As usual, thank you so much for watching today. I am not 100%. I'm not feeling very well. but I just got on board, and the conversation was really, really good. Thank you to Dr. Bojang. He has wealth of knowledge about drugs. Honestly, we could not have picked a better person in terms of addressing the issues that we talked about. Someone kept repeating ne ñu làkk olof. Jërëjëf si seetaan bi ñun duñ fi nekk su fekkee ne yéen seetaanu leen ñu ba pare yéen nekku leen fi si week bu nekk man nag tey wéruma gis ngeen ko gisuma kanam gi I'm not feeling well, but you know su fekkee ne yéen mun ngeen yi bàyyi seen soxla yi ngeen ñëw toog ak ñun fii ñun tamit fa ñu bàyyi ñu ne luñ feebar ñu daagu ñëw toog ak yéen fii so jërëjëf si li ngeen ñu dee seetaan ajuma bu jot tey topic bi mënuñ koo jeexal tey moom dafa ëpp loxo 3 hours 30 minutes xaar nañ fi wante topic baa ko laaj te docteur bi information bu mu doon joxe wax dëgg information bu am solo la te fokk rek ñun ñëpp ñu jàngee si ba pare ñu xamee si my belief when it comes to any kind of medication is see a doctor first. Man ñëpp a ma ko xamee ñu ne dama hypochondriac man suma xefis yu métti sax damaa dem docteur mama na ko wax nit ñi time coronavirus first week bi wax naa mama 15 times mama fo naa dama corona man docteur bi nii man la woon a njëkk a analyse psychosocial support on my issues just being obsessed with going to the doctor. I don't take medication randomly, and I hope ñun ñëpp balaa nga naan benn garab lu si gën a ndaw comme paracetamol sax nga make sure ne dem nga si docteur te xam naa ne yéenay dem docteur dafa seer te nekkul ne ñëpp a ko antan nekkul ne ñëpp a am kàttan yooyu noonu. Viagra is a prescription medication. It's a very, very serious drug. Nekkul loo xam ne danga ko naan rek pour bànneexu taalal dem sa yoon jaru ko fi nem ko jaru ko fi na ñun ñëpp balaa nga jël benn medication sakatuma loo xam ne dafa mess with sa xol bi te ñun ñëpp xolañu amee ñu njëkk a dem si docteur seet lan moo nekk suñ problème balañ koo jël jigéen bu la buga nga mun ñaaka mun dina la ko si muñal noonu. Sex is not all about physical. There have to be some sort of an emotional connection to make it better, feel better, and have more fun. Legi ñu ñëw si side yi the drugs, the alcohol, and the smoking. I think I was very clear. Man fu ma taxaw si loolu as a mother, as an advocate for really kids should be protected against drugs and alcohol. It's very rampant in this country. Amul góor amul jigéen. When you go to the clubs, everybody is like drunk to the brim, smoking anything and everything. And, we think that is cool. That is the way to go. Mandama brands mabopane. I am a cool person. I do it. I go out. I have fun, look good, dress good, high heels. I do all of that. And I don't need to hold a cigarette, nor do I need to have any kind of substance to feel good or have a good time. But again, man, I think that my personality alone is my drug, is my kicking drug. Wante so gisee ñuy wax against drugs and alcohol nekkut ne adults si sax lañ ko wax parce que ku nekk sa magi boppa nga lu la neex nga def waaye ñun fii ay yaay lañ te suñ doom yi bugga ne ñu jox leen chance ñoom te ñu màgga si society boo xam ne maguñ di ñu gis ñu ngeen naan di tux di def naka su dul noonu. That's just the right word to use. I'm a very liberal person. I believe in everybody doing whatever rocks your boat, but I think kids should be protected. And that's why there are laws enacted to protect these kids from smoking and drinking and really engaging in any kind of substance abuse. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Mama, where are you? Mama Linger, hamna mga leka. You are muted. We can hear you. Okay.
I can't. I'm not actually eating. Yes, I just want to say, tey tamit comme ni ko waxee another great show. Kon ni ko ñëpp di waxee ñu ngi thank ñi nga xam ne ñoo ko make that way muy Dr. Sonko ak ñëpp ñi nga xam ne ñoo nañ fii wax. Nancy comme li nga wax rek la jarul ma repeatat ko. All these drugs soo ko abuse dafa am side effects. Li nga xam ne itamit mooy mooy li xew léegi surtout si ndaw yi il faut ñu seet ko il faut government indi si ay solution. In fact, itamit ñun ñu waxtaanee suñ biir surtout parents itamit mënuñoo bàyyi responsibility bi yëpp to government so dafa important pour parents itamit ñu jël seen responsibility jël seen matuwaay bu wér so di wax rek thank you to everybody that was watching bu leen fàtte pour di like page bi su ko defee ngeen ak ngeen hit the notification button su ko defee ngeen mën a am notification si di leen wax ba next Friday waaye ëllëg Zanu dina ñëw parce que ëllëg Scorpion si la ak Zanu so dinañ am programme immediately after Scorpion si seen match bi ak Cameroon di ñaanal Gambia ndam inshallah di ñaan ëllëg ñu
yes I missed the beginning mama shout out to the Scorpions congratulations yéen gàcca ngalaama suñu xol yaa ngi sedd guy xol yaa ngi feex daal
yes definitely xol yaa ngi feex
liggéey foo nekk nii ba di fay screen bi di ko taalaat loolu laa bëgg a xam mama audience yi fan la mama Linguère nekk
nan sonal nga ma nan
sonal ma de ba pare man tey sa background sax xameewuma ko ku la yow mi nekkuloo sa kër
nan maa ngi suma kër nan bàyyi ma anyway Nubian di leen wax yéen ñëpp jërëjëf yéen mi nekkoon on YouTube yéen mi nekkoon on Facebook di leen wax jërëjëf docteur dinañ ko indiwaat inshallah nga xam ne dina gën a waxtaan ak ñun ñu gën a dugga si yeneen yi nga xam ne mu ngi xew te ñu war see wax te waxtaananguñ ci sax laalanguñ yu bari si li nga xam ne mooy di drug abuse bi bugg a wax yëpp waaye dinañ ñëwaat inshallah def loolu noonu comme liñ wax ñu ngi wax ñëpp ñu nekkoon ci comments yi ñoom Lému Chadrame Nubian Queen Tamata ñoom Nubian ñoom ñëpp ñu ngi leen a wax thank you so much for always being here soo leen fi nekkutoon dinañ doon wéet lool so ñu ngi leen a wax jërëjëf ba next Friday inshallah Nancy
all right bye everybody have a good night jërëjëf bye
good night